Is this about Mustang? I know it was hard for you to leave her, no matter what you said at the time. You should seek her out while we're here. I know you miss her, admit it.
I don't.
Liar, liar, cheeks of fire.
I've told you 100 times. We're not talking about her.
Fine. Then you're worried, aren't you? About the auction? You shouldn't. I've settled that matter. I'm going to bid on you.
Rogue, you don't have the money.
Do you know how badly a pixie would pay to get a peerless with my pedigree and connections in their debt? Millions. I could even go to Quicksilver if I needed. He loans to golds all the time. Point is, I'll have the money even if my parents won't help me. So never you worry, brother. House Mars has to mean something, huh?
Thank you. No one has even mentioned the auction to me.
They're afraid your bad luck is contagious. You know how it is. There's something else, isn't there?
Do you ever feel lost?
Quinn told me a story once. Once in the days of old Earth, there were two pigeons who were greatly in love. In those days, they raised such animals to carry messages across great distances. These two were born in the same cage, raised by the same man, and sold on the same day to different men on the eve of a great war. The pigeons suffered apart from each other, each incomplete without their lover. Far and wide their masters took them, and the pigeons feared they would never again find each other, for they began to see how vast the world was, how terrible the things in it. For months and months they carried messages for their masters, flying over battle lines, through the air over men who killed one another for land. When the war ended, the pigeons were set free by their masters. But neither knew where to go, neither knew what to do, so each flew home. And there they found each other again, as they were always destined to return home and find, instead of the past, their future. So do I feel lost? Always. When Leah died at the Institute, I was in the dark woods, blind and lost as Dante before Virgil. But Quinn helped me. Her voice called me out of the misery. She became my home. As she puts it, home isn't where you're from, it's where you find light when all grows dark. And find your home, Daryl. It may not be in the past, but find it, and you'll never be lost again.
I think it's time to go, Rogue.
As sure as I am your friend, you will recover from this. We are not our station in life. We are us, the sum of what we've done, what we want to do, and the people who we keep close. You're my dearest friend, Darrow. Mind that. No matter what transpires, I will protect you, as surely as you will protect me if I ever need it.
You're a good man, Rogue. Far too good for your color.
Thank you. But whatever do you mean by that?
I think we could have been brothers. Were this a different life?
Why do we need another life?
Rogue. Oh, Rogue. When you wake, everyone you've known will be dead. There is no going back.
Adjustments to dilithium crystal chamber complete.
Pre-recorded in a second-floor guest room filled with tall ales and taller tales. Join a group of grown men intent on discussing the intricacies of fantasy and science fiction. Tim Gilbert Media presents
Dungeons and Dweebs! I think a battle axe to the shot it right to the backside.
Hello, all you lovers of bacon and eggs, cookies and milk, and pocket-sized wolf pelt-wearing imps. This is the Dungeons and Dweebs podcast, Episode 9, Golden Sun, Part 1. I am your host, Bob. I'll die, you'll die, and the universe will carry on with only this whore fart of a podcast howled to the winds. Obsidian Truthbox II. But I'm not alone. Across the table from me, once encased in his star shell, he'll explode through your bulkhead like a ball of lead shot into a store of china and glass. Luke!
I don't know what I expected from you. Oh, wow. So we're here. Golden Sun. We had so much fun with Red Rising coming to this. Super excited.
Yeah.
But hey, let's not waste any time with these overly exaggerated intros with a little bit of sexual innuendo to them. To my left, I know him. He's a friend from work. It's Klob.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, my young friends, and your sentimental old Uncle Klob has changed into his cardigan and matching Chuck Taylors in order to sit by the trolley tracks and take you away to the land of make-believe for a visit with Daniel the Tiger. What's that you say? Winter has come. It looks like the fracking Narnia out there. Earlier today, a White Walker, a Wampa, and that smegging Olaf were riding a toboggan down the hill outside my kitchen window. Uncle Klob is not a fan of the cold, kids. Guess it's time to board La Transpernage. Hand me another bloody damn blanket, a hot toddy, and turn on the hockey game, please. Across the table from me, he boomboxes Careless Whisper outside his girlfriend's bedroom, but he wasn't alive when wham earned the exclamation point. He's the Dr. Bashir to my Chief O'Brien. Neil, how are you today, my rusting fledgling boy?
Oh, I'm feeling great, especially after determining that Jaws 1 is the best of the Jaws trilogy. That's one takeaway I had over this past week. It was a wonderful time.
We're not in Tavern Talk yet. What are you doing?
No, just a little shot across the bow at someone who might be at this table as part of my takeover plan. Also, I noticed you have no Chuck Taylors on, despite your intro claim.
None of us have shoes on. We're in a studio.
We're civilized folk.
Civilized folk. I have my Jerusalem cruisers on.
Jerusalem? Wait a minute.
Sandals.
Oh my, okay. Well, this is derailing like crazy. Hey, we're here to start tackling Book 2 of the Red Rising trilogy, Golden Sun.
All right, so hey, Red Rising. I mean, we're in episode 9, and this is the highest a book has rated on our scale.
Yeah, we're still in the podcast is still in its infancy, but
right.
We're having fun. I mean, this is.
Right.
But it's a challenge. This is something, where, it's a book where I was very openly a fanboy of, but still needing to critique it and not really being able to in the first one because of how well it was written.
Right, and I was really worried because, with the podcast in its infancy, I didn't want to start throwing out 4.5 and 5-star reviews right off the bat, setting an incredibly high bar and worrying that then all of a sudden if we came across something even better, that we'd be out of room, to rate. But, boy, Red Rising for me was just such an excellent book that I couldn't have rated it higher.
Well, hey, let's quit talking about book 1 of the trilogy.
Right.
Let's fill our mugs up here. And then let's dive into book 2 of this trilogy.
It sounds good. Hey, Klavacek, I see a pink over there. She's been making eyes at you.
Oh, I brought her.
Oh, you got one for me?
We don't serve there.
Do you have any blue milk?
What am I supposed to find in it? Oh my goodness. It's bigger on the inside.
I want to go to Tashi's station and pick up some power converters.
Okay, it's not a detonator, it's just a jammy dodger.
What'll it be, boys?
Tavern Talk.
All right, we're back and we're here for Tavern Talk. So Tavern Talk, again, just one of these times where we're going to kick back, relax, and talk about, whatever's coming across our radar screens in terms of, nerd cultural touchstones. So, Luke, what's new?
Not a whole lot as far as, nerd culture goes. I mean, I did watch the Infinity War trailer, but I'm trying not to turn this into Marvelcast. We... Bob, you and I, and our previous fourth chair from last time did the Hot Pepper Challenge.
Yeah, boy. So if people
dumbest thing I've ever done. Oh my god.
Well, yeah, I'm really not sorry I missed it.
I almost feel bad for you too.
So Luke, you are the one who kind of brought this up. You found the website. Tell us about this. What is this?
Yeah, this is actually it's just a YouTube channel that I follow called Binging with Babish. What he does is he cooks food that you see in TV and films, and it's just so like aesthetically pleasing and just so well edited, and the music he has, and it just I would recommend it. I mean, dude's got millions and millions of views on all of his stuff.
Right.
But I was watching that. This video came through about the hot pepper challenge. I watched it, and it was for ALS, and I thought, you know what? I never really did the ice bucket challenge.
Right. Wasn't a listener of his had passed away, right?
That's correct. Yeah, and I talked about that a little bit. If you guys want to watch it, that's on our YouTube channel.
You're right.
You search Dungeons and Dweebs on YouTube. I think the link's on our website, maybe.
Yes.
Or I don't know.
It's
anyway,
not up there yet. But
yeah. Anyway, so what had happened was when his show was in its infancy, one of his fans had reached out. Just said how big of a fan he was. He had been diagnosed with ALS prior to that. Over time, the disease, there really isn't a cure for it yet.
Right.
So it took his life, and so in order to memorialize his friend, one of his earliest fans, the guy who runs the channel Binging with Babish, started this sort of Ice Bucket Challenge 2.0. And the thing that's hot right now, as he said, is eating hot peppers on YouTube.
Yeah,
so
and I don't want to say it, man. Ice Bucket Challenge is one thing, but eating a hot pepper.
I mean, and realistically, we did not have to eat a ghost pepper, but I wanted to.
Right, because there's a level system to this. It's like if you get nominated, right, you either have to pay to the foundation, right, or else you can, reduce the amount you pay in based on how hot of a pepper that you eat. But it should be said, we weren't nominated.
We weren't. I just was such a fan of the cause and his show that I thought we would be just a little spark and spread it from here.
So you donated for Dungeons and Dweebs. We've had other people donate in our name for Dungeons and Dweebs, which has really been cool. And then we kind of started it off. So, and by the way, we called out 3 people, right?
did.
Because that's part of the thing. We went high enough. We got a ghost pepper, which is pretty darn hot, and so we were able to nominate 3 other people. And one of them was our listener from way back from the beginning.
Oh, back in the Dragonlance days of Dungeons and Dweebs,
Brendan
from Facebook.
Yeah, he is awesome, and I mean immediately the guy answers the call.
Oh, I can't believe it.
Yeah,
awesome, Brendan, awesome, so cool,
just awesome, and he sent out his video. We shared it onto our Facebook as well of him doing the hot pepper challenge. He is just awesome, so big shout out to him.
And Brendan, I do have to give you props out there too. You did it at work.
Yeah,
you weren't even at home.
And Brendan, he has 2 paintings hanging in his office. Like all of us just lost it. We look and somebody's like, that is Lorana. Before he even said for Lorana, he's got a painting of Lorana in the back of his office. He's got another painting on the side. I can just see the corner of the whole crew kind of sitting there.
Yeah, the Dragonlance party.
That Elmore painting.
Around the fire, all of them.
Yeah, it was cool. So cool.
Super cool.
So, man, we all raise our mugs to you.
Hey.
Yes. So, to Brendan. But there is 2 other people we have called out, which we have yet to hear from.
Pierce Brown, the author of the books that we're writing.
And this is kind of one of those weird things, right? I mean, like, we're reviewing the Red Rising trilogy, so it was like, hey, shot in the dark, let's call out the author, see what he does, so that's thrown out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then PB Publishing, our friends on Twitter, I'm still waiting, guys. I do know, I mean, even because we had planned this ahead of time.
Takes a while to get the peppers.
Finding the peppers at this time of year is such a pain.
Yeah, because these came directly from Mexico, right?
Yeah, man. Finding them was we even had like a backup plan, like something like the people didn't see, like behind the camera magic. I ordered 2 packages. One was fresh ghost chilies that we ended up eating, and then the backup plan was these pickled ghost chilies.
Yeah.
The thing with the pickled ones was like the reviews said they weren't that hot, so I'm like, well, like, you know what? Just in case these fresh ones show up and they're all moldy, like, let's have a backup plan.
Right.
And we didn't even we actually opened those on camera. Like, we didn't know. Like, we could have opened those and they would have been all bad. Then we'd have pulled out the ghost ones. But hey, enough about what we've done.
I'd like to throw it out though to all of our listeners. I mean, we've got a lot of listeners out there, and I think this is a really good cause. So if you would like to please, film yourself doing this. We can't call you out, but film yourself. Post it to our Facebook. Share it with us on Facebook. We would love to start seeing some of our listeners. We've got. Hey, I'm going to use this opportunity to say we've got listeners in Australia, South Africa, the Netherlands. I would like to know who you guys are, right? Like, it would be awesome to hear from you. You kind of know who's out there. We've got kind of a from the Philippines, from Japan. I would love to see some
Unless people are just using weird proxies to download. I don't know.
Why would you do that?
And truthfully, what a great organization. What a great organization
yeah.
to donate to. ALS is something that really affects all race, colors, creeds, cultures around the globe. So that's something, if we can, throw a little money there and hopefully get a little medicine behind it, by all means.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that'll be my section of Tavern Talk here. Let me, I guess, Klob, Neil, Bob, anybody else got anything nerd related?
Obviously, a lot of Golden Sun. I just started Morningstar. I made a deep shot in my intro about les transperçages. And I'm totally not pronouncing my French correctly. It translates. It's an older French graphic novel. And it translates into, they made a movie with it.
Hipster.
They made a movie about it a couple years ago.
He is drinking a double IPA.
Well, shout out to the guys at Hop Rising if you're listening, by the way, because that's the brand of IPA that I found in the store and had to get for this podcast.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Of course, it's Hop Rising.
Very apt.
But you guys may know it as Snowpiercer. And it's actually based on this older graphic novel, this older French graphic novel, and there are a couple. It took about 25 years to actually translate this thing into English that made sense. But it's really cool. It's post-apocalyptic, and the only thing left on Earth is this one train that spins around the snow-covered Earth.
Okay.
And everybody who's left is in the train, and it's just the artwork is really cool. It's got a really neat story. The movie is decent. It's with actually Chris Evans is in the movie.
Oh, wow.
And John Hurt.
John Hurt. Oh my God.
Yeah. And so the movie's okay, but I do recommend the graphic novel. That was something I did with this. Other than that, again, like I said in my intro, it's hockey season for me. So I'm watching my 4 or 5 games a week and following my teams.
Nice.
You are an odd mix of jock and nerd, and I'm cool with it.
Thank you. Neil.
You hosier.
I can become a goon there, young blood.
That's fair. You kind of sent some shots at me yesterday night, so I can't say too much. My Nerd Month, I'm going to just focus on a couple things. I went and bought, people of the internet, please do not hate me, I bought Star Wars Battlefront 2. I know there was a big uproar with EA and all that stuff.
I do not know what's going on.
Microtransactions and stuff like that, pay for play. But since I prefer to play at my own house and not really go online as much, it's not too bad for me. Luke, you joined me one day.
Yeah, I did.
As we played as Han Solo and Chewbacca. That was fun.
Honestly, one of the coolest video game experiences of my life. I mean, I was solo and I'm running around, and I just, whenever I would hear the Wookiee call, I would just yell, Chewie! I mean, we're on the couch right next to each other, but I was yelling. I was all excited.
To be fair, I would have thought you would have been Chewbacca.
He had first choice.
I did.
He picked Solo.
I did. I wanted to try out the small blaster.
Yeah. So I had fun there. But
you're right.
Otherwise, ended up going through and going to go to some board games here for a minute.
The
other day
on
Tuesday, I believe it was, I ended up playing a game at my friend's house called Mountains of Madness.
H.P. Lovecraft.
And it was definitely very related to H.P. Lovecraft. And as you're trying to escape from this mountain and research more, you get madness levels of what you have to do during the game.
Sounds like some relationships I've had.
That's true, too. Some repressed issues there, Cloud?
But no, I don't think they're repressed at all.
No, he's out and open.
Oh, yes. But
to hundreds of listeners.
But some of those instances, for example, when the game starts, you have to try to communicate with each other. But if you have a madness thing, it makes it hard. Mm-hmm. I had to speak only in rhyme. And I couldn't think of that many words that would rhyme during that time.
No.
Wow.
Oh, no, yeah, Neil.
So I had to give you the look. But then after that madness changed away, followed by every time someone said the word crate, I had to yell and then stop talking the rest of the time. So if someone accidentally said crate, ah!
Right. And then that was it.
And that was it.
Hilarious.
I couldn't do anything. And then the last one, my third level of madness, I had to count on my hand every time I said a word, and I couldn't stop. And
Okay. I like that. Kind of bringing the real world into the game.
Right.
Yeah,
I
and
like that.
But
Well, it has a role-playing aspect to it.
Yeah, it had a very fun role-playing
So
aspect.
would you
to it. It was
recommend
hard.
this? What kind of rating would you give this game?
Well, I only played it once.
Should our
and
listeners rush out and get Mountains of Madness?
yes, if you have the money.
Oh, is this expensive?
It's like Mansions of Madness?
Yeah, Mansions.
No,
let's throw out Mansions of Madness is unbelievable.
Yeah, and I guess it was.
Love that.
Was that last year we were playing that?
Yep.
And I guess
Last year.
I don't know what the prices are on it now, but man, it was like
They are still high.
yeah, demand is still far outweighing supply on that.
The only thing that scares me about Mansions of Madness is that it's a game that you have to play with the app.
Yeah.
It's the guy has this atmospheric app component. I'm always
Yeah,
worried. What's going to happen if that app goes away?
Yeah,
the
and
game is useless.
Yeah, actually it is.
What
yeah.
do we
Yeah.
play after the apocalypse?
Yeah, exactly.
Cards,
Checkers.
that's it.
Checkers.
Dice
I
rolling.
mean, when I'm 80, can I
D&D
still
will
fire up
still
the
be
Mansions
there.
of Madness app? I
Hey,
don't
I'm
know.
all about Farkle.
Oh wow.
But no, Mountains of Madness was definitely a lot of fun, and
Okay.
I would probably. It's on sale right now. Never mind, I take it back. It's $40.
Okay, so wow.
But it was a lot of fun. I would recommend it. Again, we played it once, so we probably cheated a lot on accident without
Right.
realizing it. But
creative
Well,
use of
still
game
a-
it
mechanics.
was a good time, yes.
Right.
And
Cool.
Bob, what about your month?
Well, I'm playing catch up, so I'm not going to talk about it much. But yeah, I saw Thor Ragnarok finally. Woo! Way to be in there. But yeah,
How did you? Were you on the hype train with me, or how? Do you
I am on the hype train with you.
Okay.
Yes, I am. It's right in my sweet spot for where a movie should be at. So I am on the hype train with Thor Ragnarok.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And just to explain to you folks how much he is on the hype train, blasting out of his office at work for the last week and a half, it's been straight 80s synth pop.
Yes, it has been. Yes, yep. Synthwave. I've listened to tons of synthwave and Led Zeppelin. So yeah, I'm that guy. Just a sucker. I'll just go with the tides of pop culture. But boy, for me, like you said, Red Rising, and then into Golden Sun. And honestly, there's not a lot of space between our last podcast recording and this one.
There isn't, and I actually, I put it in the description of episode 8.
Yeah.
8, 9? We're on 9
8,
now.
we're on 9.
Episode 8 that just came out about how, we've had like scheduling conflicts.
Oh my
and
God.
And there's the holidays.
The holidays.
Everything.
American
kinda rolls
Thanksgiving
Right.
just happened.
Right,
And
yeah.
we all holiday obligations, and then, it's...
Work obligations next week.
Work
You're
obligations.
gone.
Yeah, I'm gone for an entire week, but
Right.
I guess I can at least get this edited and out then.
Right.
And I just, thank you everybody who's sticking through us on this. We're new to this. We don't really know what we're doing, and our reading schedule was very ambitious.
Very ambitious reading schedule. So if you've looked, we've pulled, like we said before, we pulled a book in January, which we desperately now need. And
A book that Neil's a big fan of.
Yeah, one of Neil's favorite books. Sorry, but we pulled that book to use as a buffer zone. So just kind of watch. We're hoping to kind of almost maybe every week and a half be dropping a show. They'll come out at kind of wild times, but our hope is that we'll kind of nail down a calendar so that by February on, hopefully kind of second Friday, last Friday of the month will always be our scheduled down.
Hopefully.
But hopefully, we'll see.
And speaking of schedules, and something that we found out that was pretty interesting, we got a big spike after we posted the Hot Pepper Challenge and downloads. So
Yeah, we
if
did.
you're new since the Hot Pepper Challenge, if you came to us from the Hot Pepper Challenge, welcome and thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Hey.
Right, yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
But as far as for me, nothing nerd-wise.
Yeah.
Twilight Zone. Old Twilight Zone episodes I've been binging on Netflix
sounds like
with my wife. And my kids. I got little kids at home.
And you let something slip before we started recording here that you have had Deadpool sitting like right up on your shelf, and you still haven't
Why
watched
are you
it.
calling me out on this? I am the last
because
nerd
because
on
I
the
can't
known
believe
universe
it.
who has not seen Deadpool.
Because I can't believe it.
It's one of those weird, the alignment of the planets, didn't get to see it in theaters, got it, know it's a movie you can't watch around kids, and am constantly with kids until it seems like I'm too tired to watch anything. So, like Netflix, like things that are 40, 50 minutes, perfect.
Yeah.
Movies, tough.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, and I don't know. I'm gonna call it right now. Deadpool 2 will come out before you watch that. that is my guess. But hey, at any rate, let's quit talking about ourselves. Let's start talking about what everybody downloads podcasts to hear about.
Yes.
Golden Sun.
Hey, Neil, do me a favor there, young blood. Go grab me another blanket, will you?
I guess so.
He's starting to
You could just
shiver.
sit by the fire.
I am sitting by the fire.
Oh, yeah. All right, hang on.
You know Tashi Station?
I'm a leaf on the wind.
My friend got fired from there.
I'm a leaf.
Dangerous.
Waiting around for that Skywalker kid to come pick up the power convoy.
He got downloads into your systems.
Aye, pull up a chair, friend.
E.T. phone home.
All right, everybody, welcome back. And hey, here we are, a new book. And you know what that means. Bob, why don't you give us a synopsis here before we dive in?
Okay, I'll try. Golden Sun by Pierce Brown, Del Rey Books, January 6th, 2015. Very little time has passed since the end of Red Rising. Darrow has become a student at the Academy, where he trains in the tactics of ship-to-ship combat. While training in an asteroid field, the game comes down to just Darrow and another student, Karnas, brother of Cassius and the eldest sibling of the Bellina family. Darrow is outsmarted by Karnas, and in his embarrassment, the Arch-Governor, who had been sponsoring Darrow, tells him he will be auctioned off. Without the protection of the Arch-Governor, Darrow will be left to defend himself against the Bellina family, who still want him dead. He is to be sold at a gathering of Goldens. While trying to come up with a plan, Darrow meets up with his old nemesis, the Jackal. He tells Darrow that he has gained control of 30% of the media, and that he can use that to take down both the Sovereign and the Sons of Ares with his fake news. Darrow is to be the figurehead in this plan. But the Jackal isn't the only old friend in attendance. Evie is there with a bomb. In the chaos that follows, Evie brings Darrow to Harmony, who drops 2 more bombs of the emotional variety on Darrow. Dancer, leader of the Sons of Ares, is dead, and oh yeah, Io was pregnant. You're a father. This news helps galvanize Darrow's resolve, and he decides to bring a little surprise of the explosive variety to the meeting of the Golds on Luna. But before setting it off, he remembers his beloved Io and her wishes. Becoming a suicide bomber was not what she would want. Instead, Darrow changes course midstream and hatches a brilliant, on-the-spot plan that will bring about civil war among the Golds. He challenges Cassius to a duel. Darrow has been training and is now much better than Cassius knows. Cassius loses an arm, but before Darrow kills him, the Sovereign, she secretly had been working with the Bellinas, steps in and stops the fight. This is a big no-no, and everyone at the party sees her as a dictator instead of a leader. Chaos ensues. Mustang, Severo, and the Howlers show up, and they rescue Darrow. In orbit around Luna, Darrow uses his wit and out-of-the-box thinking to capture a battleship. He frees the low colors on board and bids them serve in his fight out of loyalty instead of servitude. Jump forward in time, and some battle montages later, the society is gripped by civil war. Bellina is waging war against Mars and the Arch-Governor. Meanwhile, Darrow decides he needs ships and the help of Lorne Akras, a retired fighter who taught Darrow how to use a razor like a ninja. So it's off to Ganymede to steal ships, but Lorne wants no part in the fighting, and Darrow barely escapes death. Back on his ship, the Pax, Mustang tells Darrow they've been betrayed, and the Sovereign's ships have shown up and captured Augustus and the Jackal. Rescue mission. Darrow frees his friends and tells the Jackal to use his powers of fake news to tell those houses loyal to him of his plan for an Iron Rain, an all-out assault on Mars, and the forces of the Sovereign and House Bellona. Awesome fighting ensues, ship-to-ship combat, soldiers streaking through atmosphere and metal eggs only to hatch as Iron Men and War Machine. Jumping, leaping, drone destruction, laser-guided bombing, and underwater basket weaving are all part of the action. But as Darrow and his men are underwater, breaching the wall of the city holding the Sovereign, an EMP pulse goes off, trapping most of his men in their mech suits underwater to die. Darrow cuts his way free, and he frees Severo and Ragnar along with a few other Howlers. Darrow sees the Sovereign leaving in a ship and knows it's his only chance. He rockets into the ship, only to end up fighting his old proctor Finchner. But plot twist, Finchner is really Ares. Grabbing Darrow's body, Finchner jumps ship. More fighting ensues as Darrow struggles to get his plans and house in order, but eventually he learns that the Arch-Governor will name him his heir. This is exactly what the Sons of Ares want. It will put them in a position to take control. Darrow gets all sentimental and wants to take Mustang on a hometown visit to meet Ma. He's going to come clean to her, show her he's a Red. But Mustang doesn't take the news well and pulls a gun on Darrow. Darrow tells her to shoot him. Jump in time, and Arch-Governor Augustus is naming Darrow his heir at a party. It must be a fashionable party. It's drawing all the finest people. But words of Darrow being a Red has gone out, and all hell breaks loose as everything devolves into an orgy of betrayal. The Jackal even kills his own father. Darrow is taken, and Cassius reveals Ares' head within a box. Cassius swears all Darrow loves will die. Darrow is to be brought to the Sovereign to be dissected. Darrow and his rise have been undone.
All right, well there it is. I'm gonna tackle this immediately. Just opening up this book. I mean, talk about a data dump.
Yeah.
Let's get to it. I'm gonna flip the page to it. Just it's this page that we have here where it's like this breakdown of all the colors. You have the triangle of society, and this like all the colors bottom to top, and just a little description of them. And I love that.
Yeah,
it's such a good idea. Just break it down for us.
It reminds me of some of the old sci-fi stuff I used to read in the 90s. That's the first thing you'd have on either the first page or the last page was timelines and everything else. I kind of love that. Okay,
actually,
still
used
to
read. And actually, I think, Dungeons and Dweebs first, it's not a map.
No, it is not a map.
We've had maps in the beginning of every book that we've read for this podcast.
Yeah. It is a data dump that you need, though. I did find myself occasionally looking back, just for interest's sake. Like just kind of like, okay, so what are some of these colors again? Even some maybe we haven't quite met.
And the cast list.
Well, going back to the hierarchy.
Yeah.
Going back to the hierarchy of colors, too. Okay, so now we've met this color. Where does this color actually sit in, the societal caste system that's here?
Mm-hmm. So this book picks up, again, with kind of this pre-chapter little piece, right? And it's picking up immediately after Red Rising ends, right? We're on Mount Olympus, right as Darrow has taken it. Right? Mm-hmm. And it's swarming with golds, and Darrow is standing with Augustus, and he muses on the man who killed his wife, right? I love Darrow is kind of thinking about Augustus and and how he's the guy who's kind of the reason Io is dead, and how now he needs to be the sword of his people.
Yeah, and I'm gonna kind of like nitpick this a little bit. A lot of books do a prologue, and where kind of like. It's even like it's hinting at things that are going to happen in the book. Yeah. And I do have to say I'm not a fan of it. It puts ideas in your head before you start reading.
It sets you on a trajectory.
And I just end up sort of subconsciously like, okay, where's that part? Is that part coming? I think that part from the beginning is coming. Like it's just always something that's like in the back of my mind when I'm reading the book, and I don't know. It's just a thing with books overall.
No, I agree. And a lot of times
maybe I should just skip the prologues. I don't know.
And a lot of times they're superfluous, and I think this might be one of those. It's pretty superfluous, but I liked how it was written. It was good.
But it's understandable with the time period, and especially between where these two books came out,
right?
And last time on Red Rising,
right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we're jumping into part one.
Bow or bow? I actually wrote that down because I thought
bow.
When I
it
first
is bow. It's bow because it's our ships, ship-to-ship combat. My bad.
Hang on, no. When I first thought it, I thought it as bow, like he is being drawn back by Augustus to be shot forward, like an actual bow and arrow to put it towards the target.
See, I shouldn't have said anything until after Neil said that, because then I would have sounded
I got
smarter.
your back.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, that's exactly why I thought.
You say bow. Maybe I just don't know how to spell, but I'm thinking like the act of bowing.
Well, that was my other thought. Is it bow and arrow, bowing down, or bow of a ship?
I went bow of a ship completely.
Good use of word choice here to confuse all four people at the table.
For anybody who's new and listening and you're wondering why it takes so long in two parts to get through a book, we're spending 5 minutes on just why is it bow or bow?
On the minutia.
On the minutia. Okay.
Or is it like when you're wrapping a present?
Is it a bow?
Like he's going to be presented to the sovereign?
After being shot onto the bow of the ship to bow in front.
I believe Pierce Brown sees Golden Sun as kind of a big golden Christmas present, and we're starting at the bow.
Unravel the bow and then get to the paper.
Yes.
Sorry, Pierce.
So Chapter 1, Warlords. Man, we are thrown right into this. I love kind of Red Rising, and I love that book, but it feels completely different. I'll already throw it out. This entire book, Golden Sun, has a completely different feel for me than Red Rising. Red Rising felt very we're on Mars, we're fighting. It in a lot of ways just feels very not fantasy, but that kind of rugged hand-to-hand fighting with swords and everything else. Instantly, we're in a space opera here.
Yeah.
Ship-to-ship combat.
And it completely opens up the world. Universe. It opens up the universe. We're not as small as we were before.
Yeah.
I think that was very intentional here.
Oh, yeah.
Is opening up this wide universe of, okay, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Right. He's now at the Academy, and this is now the Starship Academy. Right?
2 years later.
2 years.
Yeah,
also.
so he is now 20. Right? Yeah, and he's in the command of a fleet of starships, and again, more training exercises. They have to, again, battle each other for dominance. And
Or training exercises where you can die.
Right, exactly.
We're not supposed to.
You're not supposed to. This one actually now has more stringent rules, right? Because, and I get it, these ships are ungodly expensive, right?
A lot of people.
And a lot of people on them. So now things are ratcheted back just a little bit, but they are in an asteroid field and they're kind of doing maneuvers. I would love to see this opening in a movie. Man, would this would really get you. And I'm getting kind of that Star Trek, kind of Wrath of Khan. Where they're fighting in the nebula, and it's kind of that ship. One's hiding behind nebulas and stuff. And I'm talking old Wrath of Khan.
And see, I went in your direction with this opening of the starship. I went Star Wars on this.
Through the asteroid field.
I went. This is the beginning of the Star Wars movie where we have the pan underneath the ship, and then we roll up into the bridge, and you see the command structure.
This is how this movie would start. As it would start, with the asteroid field in the distance and the ship coming overhead. Maybe to the side because you wouldn't copy it.
Maybe.
So we find out that Darrow here has really been kicking butt in this in this final game. This is the final game. This is his senior thesis that he's doing here
in the Academy.
That's what Academy. Yes. And it's come down to just him and Karnas,
who is a different brother.
Right.
He did not kill in this wonderful family.
He's brother of Cassius and Julia.
Brother, yes. So we've got some more revenge moments going on, and we find out he's kind of a beast, though. Darrow's arm is broken from him at some point.
He's referred to as a
It's broken. I want to know how that happened. Was it from ship-to-ship combat, or did they actually meet each other on an actual field? Because now we have someone who can take on Darrow as well.
Right.
Well, we also have we also find out too at the beginning here. We again have the same slavery aspect that we had before. Whereas if you take over the ships, they become part of your fleet. Just like how when we were in the smaller version of the game. In the previous book, if you took over the people, they became your slaves. You could take over the other ships here.
Right. And so they're chasing him through this asteroid field, right? Karnas is referred to as a monster that they let out of a cage to kill things, right? And we learn a new color, blues.
Blue.
I like the blues.
Such a cool description for this class.
Yeah. And again, kind of, what is the script that you talked about?
Camel Case.
Camel Case is still being used. Digitats. They have Digitats.
Yeah. You know what? They're kind of like animated tattoos that are all over them, and they're like this weird
circuitry. I'm picturing like almost Tron circuit boards.
Yeah, almost Tron circuit board.
And they actually plug themselves into the computer system.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's bring it to what is it? Destiny, that video game, where the Awoken have like this weird like there's like an animation under their skin like always moving around. But there's this weird like almost non-verbal class that just plug into computers and just communicate with each other like that.
Right. And I think that's very cool. And again, I don't know that the last book always felt sci-fi to me. It did in aspects, but a lot of times it felt like I was reading this brutal smashing kind of
because we were still grounded on
the planet. Whereas now, all of a sudden, this really feels galactic.
We go from Conan on the ground to Conan in space.
I was trying to avoid using Conan because people would be like, it's Conan, Star Wars, and Alien that he ever references. But it's very Conan, and we instantly kind of get to Star Wars, Star Trek. even.
Yes.
But this kind of rifles us right into chapter 2, the breach. And Darrow thinks that he's going to win against Karnas.
Darrow wins. They already they start talking about his promotion. I was going to bring Severo back from Pluto to join them.
Yeah, I'm going to do all these things when I win because there's no way I can lose.
And his overconfident nature comes back.
And I like that he gets slapped down here. I really like this character building moment, right? Because Karnas is waiting in ambush.
Karnas is waiting in ambush.
Yep.
And we get to this hiding place, and we get to this oh poop moment from where right before it happens, Darrow is actually smart enough to realize that, oh God, no, I missed this.
Yep.
I screwed up.
Yeah.
Definitely. Which is good. I mean, someone who's been, I guess he does have flaws, but for the most part, towards the end of Red Rising, he was just on this meteoric rise,
which we talked about, and he's almost flawless in some ways. And I like this because if that's going to continue, he is going to be some sort of demigod rising through the society. He needs to meet some sort of personal struggle here, and I like that. I would think you are a minor. You're 18. And you have just started this rise. Yeah, at some point you're going to finally meet the player that can outplay you on the field. And I do really like this.
But I will say too that I also felt that there was some cheating involved here.
Well, there was. They even said it though.
Yeah,
they said that the proctor shut his controls down at certain points. Yeah, and they're getting revenge for what he'd done earlier,
like they've always done.
Yes,
which was my other question here. The one problem I had with the whole him being defeated by Karnas here.
Yeah.
Didn't he have 5, 6, 7 ships?
Seven specifically.
He had 7 specific
and then they
ships,
kind of all go away.
And they took one. They take the main ship
I didn't even
down.
think of that.
They take the main ship down.
So much going
Karnas
on,
automatically wins.
Yeah, I'm with you, Luke. I lost them then in that, and I kind of never thought about that. But yeah. What did you guys think of Theodora in here? Because there's an insertion of this Theodora, this pink.
His pink that he has. And she's on good terms with him.
Because again, we're reviewing this book, having read the book. She doesn't really play much of a part in the rest of the book.
I think it's just showing more so that even though he's higher, he still shows sympathy to all colors. Okay. Throughout the books, it shows how he's kind to reds, browns, obsidians, etc. Right. There's really never moments he has with actual pinks other than her.
But I guess
it talks about her. He has issues with social interaction.
Right.
He has issues. He has issues with being a gold, and Theodora is kind of. She coaches him on what to do in social interactions.
Right.
This is how this is which fork you use to eat the first course of the meal and things. And it talks about how she helps him with things like that because she's an older pink.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It should be said. Yeah, she's older. I was getting this almost aunt-ish kind of feel from her.
But it still makes him. It still makes him look like he has a slave too. Yeah. It still makes him look like he's. Well, I'm a normal gold. I have a pink. Yeah, but she's middle aged. But I have a pink.
Yep. Right.
And this is actually, bringing up Theodora. His ship starts to go down. Everybody's about to escape, so Darrow goes to save her.
Right.
And this is kind of where I'm starting to almost have an issue here.
Yeah. What is it?
I don't know. It's
because I kind of maybe am too.
It's being really hammered on how good of a guy Darrow is.
Right. Because it should be said, they go to an escape pod.
Yeah.
Right. And there's only room for so many, and so he has to. He wants to take Theodora, wants to save a pink slave, and so has to kill. Or there's kind of an altercation, right? And
he's got some Obsidian guards with him.
Yeah, and they shoot some of them. There's actually a scuffle.
They shoot themselves.
Yeah,
that's the Obsidian.
Well, I thought their leader shot them.
Yeah.
But the Obsidians shoot themselves.
Yeah, the Obsidians shoot themselves. Grays.
Yep. We don't have this.
Yeah, the gray soldiers shoot themselves because the one guy speaks up and goes, but she's a pink. I deserve to go. And so his captain shoots him and goes, yeah, we don't talk like that.
Right. And some of the issues that I might have with this is I feel like Darrow's maybe showing his hand a little bit too early here. Like you said, maybe he's acting too good. But boy, you would think that when you're in the academy that this story would get back. Like, hey, he's saving a pink. Mm-hmm. And people are shooting each other. This seems in some ways...
People are shooting each other. People are flying out the bulkheads because the ship has been ripped apart.
It seems in some ways out of place. And at the same time, again, I go back to this character. This is the beginning of the book. I'm coming in fresh and I'm zeroing in on everything that's happening. And I'm feeling like everything must matter throughout the rest of the book. Carnus, not really a thing through the rest of the book. And
A little.
He still drives.
Well, kind of, but I wouldn't say he drives the plot.
I would say it's more the family, and he just happens to be the one member who they're focusing on.
I would
and it'll keep going.
Yeah, because we go into members later, and we go into the other.
Right. I would in chapter 3 where we get to what the family members specifically.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he drives the plot, and I don't think that Theodora really has anything to do either. So it's like all of a sudden I'm really zeroing in on these characters that don't play much of a part later. But yeah,
but I like the fact we get out in the escape pod here, and Darrow's not giving up.
No,
he still thinks he's in this. He still thinks he's going to go. He actually starts readying himself. He actually starts suiting up essentially to fire himself to space jump and go take on the destroyer.
And I am getting pumped for this because he explains what he's going to do, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be good.
This is nuts.
This is nuts. Yep. And then all of a sudden the Proctors shut everything down. Darrow screams no. I scream no.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I wanted to see.
Yeah,
this.
and then just at the end of this, eventually he has to get into the escape pod. He has to leave. Like, okay, fine. And it's like it talks about body parts hitting the escape pod.
Yeah.
Different people from the ship that flew out to space. They're flying through at this point.
So this rockets us into chapter 3, Blood and Piss. And Darrow is angered by the loss of life, and he kind of does some sulking.
And he takes it out on Roke a little bit.
Yes, he does.
As reference, Roke is currently with him now, whereas different members of House Mars are all over the place.
Right. We don't know where Mustang is. She
was referenced, but never said where she was.
Just said they said goodbye to each other.
Severo's in Pluto. Roke is with him. He also has Tactus from whichever house it was.
Yeah.
And
Victra. Who is Antonia's little sister.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Little? Was she little or older? I don't remember.
Half-sister.
Half-sister. She's the younger half-sister.
Yeah.
Oh, that one.
Something like that, yeah.
But I was going to wait until later to bring it up. So
edit
that part. So
Darrow goes and relaxes in a hot spring.
Okay, now I do actually have to bring it up. Never mind. I thought we were going to have some edit, Neil.
Sorry, man. No, now you can't bring it back.
You're fine.
No, I wrote here, Darrow became stupid.
Okay, so explain.
So now he goes to a place where he knows there's this whole enemy family that's coming for him.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes off by himself in a secluded area with no one with him, expecting nothing to happen. And don't get me wrong, I understand he's upset about what happened and maybe he's not thinking straight. But for someone who knows everyone around him is technically a potential enemy, why is he going by himself?
That's true. I mean,
why is he making that decision?
That's a recurring theme throughout this book. Darrow making a decision, or not making a decision and just doing something because he needs to just relax, or he needs to get away, or he needs to stop. He needs to try to get his head back on straight, and he makes some decision that all of a sudden, a couple minutes later, he goes, "Oh God, that was dumb."
Right. Well, and this is like
he does this about 4 times throughout the book.
And this is kind of like every one of those 80s movies where like the kid goes after the game to sit in the hot tub and all the guys from the other team come. Yeah. Right? And you're like, how did they get into their locker room? And he kind of roughs them up a little bit.
He's the one who stole our mascot.
I would say, if anything, to his credit, he is...
The Cobra Kai just walked in.
He is protected at this point by the Augustans. So, I mean, they won't kill him, but I mean, you are right, dumb. They are...
Yeah,
they can still beat you up.
But it does give us when he's in this hot spring. For me, it gave us a needed scene. Again, I didn't want to ever lose sight of Io, who was so powerful in the first book, and this kind of gives us again kind of a refocusing. I like going through Darrow's thought process here about what he's thinking about becoming friends with people he knows he must kill, and I kind of really like that because it almost refocuses me as a reader. Where I was going, I was so ticked at the Golds at the beginning of Red Rising. And then I'm, like Darrow, friends and loving them all at the end. And then I have to reset myself and go, oh, wait, if this is going to go down, Darrow's got to kill these people.
Yeah, he's going to kill Rogue. He's going to kill Severo.
Yeah.
But still just going back to it, he could have even hired any Greys who are in this place. They're going to listen to what a Gold says. And who are they going to be more afraid of? The arch-governor of the whole planet, or the person who's just next in line? And then they'll risk their own life for it, and no one in this system would do such a thing. Why doesn't he?
We got to remember we're not on Mars right now.
Yeah, that's
true.
True.
Institute still.
But I don't feel
Academy. Sorry.
I remember this is an academy, though. I feel like, yeah, it's all blood and guts out there on the training field, but I think that's supposed to be left out there. Obviously, dumb decision, maybe to do this, but I feel like that's kind of the rules of the game. You're back in the academy. You're supposed to. The fight's not supposed to.
It's a weird it's a weird change for Darrow from like how smart he was.
Exactly.
Yes.
And like you said with the whole Cobra Kai aspect.
Yeah.
When you tick off the jocks, you don't go and shower alone.
Right. And he does. I think maybe, you know what I think is maybe happening is from Red Rising, we got used to this like thing. They can kill each other at any point.
True.
Right. But that's supposed to be done now. And now that they're in the academy, that's not really supposed to be a thing that they can do anymore. Yeah. And the chains are kind of back on.
You can kill the other colors.
Yeah.
Willy-nilly.
yeah. Right.
Because we'll always make more of that.
Right. But golds on golds that's not supposed to be a thing. So we get into I like this end. This rise so high in mud you lie is kind of one of the last things said in chapter 3, and that's going to be kind of a theme.
Again, yeah.
It's going to be a theme throughout the rest of the book. So chapter 4, Fallen, Darrow ends up standing before Augustus. He's failed.
Yeah, and I liked it. Talking about a flawless character who's kind of like we're really starting to see. I like that. He's a hero of war, and we're really starting to see that he is not a politician, and he really sucks at all this like post-institute stuff.
Right.
Oh yeah, I can command a ship. Yeah, that's fine. But once I'm out of the ship and I have to like kiss butt and stuff, like I don't know like who to talk to.
Right.
Where's Theodora? Help.
Yeah. And I really like this that like Augustus is just kind of this was all about image to him, and now that you can't help my image anymore, I'm
you lost.
Rid of you. Yeah, you lost. You're out.
You embarrassed me.
Yeah,
I'm selling your contract.
But I'll give you a nice severance package. That
yeah. So Darrow's to be traded because Augustus doesn't want him anymore. He tells him about how all the golds have this meeting on Luna, which is the moon.
Yes.
Right. The capital.
The moon of Earth.
And it's not only that he didn't win for Augustus's own pride of this is my house that he's being traded, because of how high and mighty the Balanas are in the entire universe here. Augustus is losing trade contracts because he has Darrow in his house. And he's losing money. And it's okay if you're losing me money if you're making me more somewhere else.
Yeah, right, yeah.
But once you're not fitting the bill, you're out.
Right.
Because I have to go do these trade agreements, and I know the Balana house is coming for my job and my planet and my house.
Right.
And here we meet Pliny and Leto.
Yeah, I went for Pliny.
Sort of the worm tongue here.
Yes, he is. I hated him from the moment he came on the page.
Yeah. There's something that is said here, though. I think it's Darrow comparing himself to Leto. He says, where I'm kinetic energy, he is potential.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I love that, just like that physics metaphor there.
Right. No, I do like it, too. So anyway, are we ready for chapter 5, Into a Bandit? Darrow's contract ends on the eve of the summit, where all the ruling families are gathering, right? And they're going to just discuss meaningless drivel. We learn that Mustang wanted Darrow to come with her, but he chose the academy and war.
Yeah, because she's been off basically in another school learning how to be a diplomat.
Right. And this is hard because we knew this was going to be this was a love interest just barely getting off the ground, and I liked that because we needed it to be about EO and not about Mustang.
Well, and we talked with Red Rising on how much we enjoyed the fact that that Pierce didn't rush this.
Yeah. Very good. And what I like about this is this I won't lie, and as we get through this initial Mustang and Darrow relationship is putting me through all kinds of inner strife.
Yeah.
Like, I hate where they're at. I'm feeling as much, like, gut-wrenching about this relationship, I think, as Darrow would. I want them together. They're apart, and it feels really real. Like, this is what would happen. Mustang would leave and be like, okay, well, I guess we didn't ever have anything. You want to go do your thing with Augustus, my father, and
remember, you know what? You're better than all that. Why are you even going?
Yeah. She wants what's better for him, but
and I looked at this, looking at the age, looking at their physical ages and everything out. She got accepted to Yale. She had to go to Yale. I got into the Air Force Academy.
So Pierce Brown, what relationship of yours are you referencing?
Well, yeah, so I mean, just very briefly going over Chapter 5, Abandoned. Yeah, he makes his way by ship to Luna. We get a little bit of what happened between the books, and then we go on to
I was going to throw some stats in there real quick. Tactus and Roke, because they have two different moments here.
Oh,
it shows a really nice description between the two friends that he has.
Yeah,
I love how different they are.
Friends. Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
Tactus gets someone makes a bet with him of, hey, I bet Darrow will last 3 days outside of Augustus's protection. Tactus goes, no way. 10 days. Yeah. 10 days. And
give him some credit. Come on.
Give him some credit. And Tactus, he also makes references to the fact that when the whole bad word went down during the Academy moments is that he launched his escape pod without Darrow.
Yeah,
right?
that was
and
Tactus
who launched it on his own, and he's one who, as long as he's being successful, he'll do whatever he has to take, or do to do it, get there. But then we look at Roke, who I know at least one person across the table loves.
Mm-hmm. I do.
He talks about how there's going to be other families that are going to want you. They'll try to find you. I would, but we don't have the money for it.
Yeah, my mom's not going to give me the money.
My mom
for
won't
it,
give me the money.
But
and it's like,
I tell you, brother will figure something out.
And that's almost the end of the chapter spot. Which
and we find out Severo's been reassigned to Pluto, and so Darrow is truly abandoned here and alone. And again, boy, and this is the middle act of a trilogy. This is what you do: you take your hero, you throw him down a dark hole, and that's kind of what's happening, right?
Into Chapter 6, Icarus.
Yeah.
In the beginning here, Darrow speaks of, as they get to the moon, and he speaks of Homer's world. Is that, am I missing a reference? Some sort of literary reference?
Homer's world.
Oh, it's the Odyssey.
The Odyssey. Okay,
it's trying to return to Greece after the Trojan War.
Okay.
And I like this description because it's kind of odd. Again, this low gravity, people are pulling themselves around on ladders.
Yes.
Like there's all these buildings have these rungs that run everywhere, and they can pull
and I do like
themselves around.
this description of Luna is super brief, but like oddly detailed.
Yes, it gives you a lot in a brief amount of time.
And it's hard for me to picture though. Like I can't picture the moon with trees. I don't know why. How does the dirt still look all gray? I don't. Like, I have issue with it, but it's described very well.
In all honesty, I mainly just saw cities, but I like this because again, this weird opulence and decadence of these golds. I get real dumb images in my head, like of all of these opulent golds in weird outfits, just pulling themselves around on like these rungs, and it's almost like we're meant to think this is all really bizarre, but nobody, the society has run away from itself so much nobody can call it out. It's like the emperor has no clothes where nobody can see it. Like, this is just bizarre. This whole Luna scenario.
But I mean, it would be though.
And it would be. No, and I think it's good.
And a couple comments thrown in here about, Earth. Ugh.
Yeah. Right. Which I would love to know exactly what is going on Earth right now.
At this point,
we don't really know. We never get a description of what Earth is like. Really.
We get
Victra.
Yes, Victra. After we get a little bit more of the.
I do too. I like how she's always pining after Darrow.
She's constantly flirting with him.
I like the difference between her and her sister, though, because we've got the one who was willing to do anything.
And her and Mustang too.
Yeah,
and I think a lot of people have this in their life where at some point they've had this girl that really likes them, but you don't really like.
But
them.
See, here's the guy. No, see, here's the thing with
female
Victra.
Listeners.
Here's the thing with Victra, is I never really got an aspect of, does she really like him?
Yeah.
Or does she like playing with him?
I think she likes playing. I think it's more of a play right now.
It's the whole like, oh well, every other man I've ever had, or every other gold I've ever flirted with, or everything else I've ever wanted has been mine because I'm a beautiful, powerful gold woman.
Yeah, right.
Yet this one seems to be a challenge.
Because he has no idea what he's doing.
Yeah. I do get a feeling from her, and especially through other passages as we go through the book, that she does kind of have a thing for him, but is really good, very svelte about playing this thing off. I kind of want you, but it really, the whole Mustang thing really doesn't bother me. Even though she probably goes back to her room and cries. Not really.
But she leads Darrow somewhere.
Yes, to a tavern to reset the adventure.
And I wrote down, where are they going? D&D reference.
Actually, I have
It's a D&D thing.
I have D&D thing in parentheses written down here.
Yeah, that's true. Reset the adventure.
But my thoughts were, where is she going? Darrow's been talking about how the Sons of Ares haven't talked to him in a while. Is she going to go see Dancer? Wait, is Victra a son of Ares? What is going on
Not
here?
just a while. He hasn't heard from the Sons of Ares
right.
since he was in the game.
Yeah.
So there was my first thought. I jumped.
It's been
to
like
was-
2.5 years.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
My first thought, just, is she one of them too? We're going to see
I guess
Dancer again finally?
I wasn't
But
there.
I wasn't.
Yeah, but
I didn't know where we were going to yet.
Yeah, there's a lot of. I like as they fly through the city. There's graffiti images, again of the hanging girl of Io, and I like that time is spent on that as well.
And she never, but she hasn't really told him where they're going. She's just, I want you. You need to talk to somebody, and he's like, "What's going on?" And so we go to this super seedy bar,
very divey.
very. There's pink girls dancing on poles. There's
Right.
different things going on in the corners of here, and Daryl just keeps walking through here, going, "What is going?"
This is where I hear the synth wave just blasting.
but they have to dye their hair to like fit in here.
Yeah, right.
But like him and Victor are so tall that they can only be obsidian. So
Yeah.
okay, they dye their hair black. They put black contacts in. They go into this. What is it? Like 15 stories high. What are they? How big is this place? It's huge.
Yeah, it's a big place.
And
the Lost Wee Den, but it's huge. I like it.
Yeah, and I don't call something huge a den.
or wee.
That's funny.
And Luke, you can maybe edit this out of here later if we feel we want to. But this whole dressing up as obsidians thing, I had Pierce. I'm sorry, man. Did they just put blackface on and go to a club?
Good question. I will leave it in.
That's true, because I actually don't always understand when I know what I have in my head when these things are being described, but some of it, like, you could push this pretty extreme with what golds look like, as far as like how gold is that hair, how red is the red's hair. Like, it could get really cartoonish really quick.
Well, especially
and I know that when I read this, I rein things back into an level of believability or aesthetic quality that I can handle.
Well,
but I mean,
and we get a character later on that I always pictured as a very large black man.
Yeah.
And he's the obsidian raised in the ice.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I guess they talk about how they gave them the Norse mythology. So I guess I went.
But does that necessarily have?
But
to
you know what?
I don't know.
Wouldn't that be a great? Wouldn't that be a great, like, if you're taking over
a complete
society,
social flip
to take a social flip like that?
Okay, I like that.
The reason I never pictured that is because early on reading Red Rising, I did an image search on Google, and somebody had made a bunch of bookmarks or something.
A bunch of fan
that
art.
were it was given out at some sort of Comic-Con or something, and they showed him, and he was just like big and kind of. His skin was a weird color, like blue or something.
Like obsidian.
Obsidian. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, I always picture the obsidians as having a darker skin tone.
Oh, see, and I didn't just because I got ruined.
I
got ruined from that bookmark.
Yeah. And I think
I like that.
I think
that
they do
flip.
that because a lot of them are like their genetics have been altered to the color. Like all the reds have red hair, and all the golds have gold hair and gold eyes. So I mean, all the obsidians could have this weird obsidian-ish colored skin.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I'm kind of about that.
So we go to this club, and we're walking through this club.
The Lost Wee Den.
In costume. We're walking through this club in costume, and as he's walking to the table, he just kind of keeps looking at this table he's going to, going, no.
No, it can't be.
No, and just kicked back at this table, like smoking a burner. Kicked back at this table, smoking a burner. There's chicks all around him. Yeah, it's just little bitty jackal.
Yeah,
hey brother,
you know what? Mangled stump.
With a stump. I like that. I like the fact that he kept the stump.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
super cool.
I like it as well.
Speaks to the character.
So he sits down and talks to the jackal.
Right,
Yeah.
and the Jackal says that he wants to win back Father's favor by bringing down the Sons of Ares and the Sovereign. Because it should be said, the Sons of Ares are really stepping it up. Lots of bombings, right? Lots of people have been being killed, so this is a real thorn in the side.
Well, and it's turned in, and we get the info dump here too, where the Sons of Ares have turned from this, rebels, this rebel culture and this rebellion society to terrorists.
Yeah, right.
They're bombing everywhere, whether they get targets or not.
But still using the EO symbols along with their terrorism.
Yeah.
And we find out that Darrow's seen some of this and has really begun to question who these people he signed up with 4 years ago.
And I like things that things are everything's muddy and kind of gray here, and you're kind of even looking at Darrow like, okay, Darrow, like which way will you go? And I think the brilliance of the writing has been that, at least for me, I have been like with Darrow on all of this, almost feeling the same emotions as Darrow. So now almost it's like you're looking back at the Ares, the Sons of Ares now feel very alien to me. Whereas at one point I was going, yeah, join the Sons of Ares, we're going to take this thing. Now all of a sudden they feel very distant from me and I don't like them anymore. Right. And I think that's a brilliance of writing, that I am able to change my opinions on things with the same group.
And the Jackal brings up the fact that he's been dishonored. His father doesn't want anything to do with him, but he wants to get back in with his father. Oh, yeah, and by the way, I own 30% of the media in the system. Yes. Yeah. What? Yeah. He's the scheming underworld businessman who pumps out the fake news.
He is. So the Jackal is Fox?
Jackal, Fox.
I never put it together. This is true. Oh, Pierce Brown, you witty devil, you.
But he makes a great societal point here, and this is totally this Pierce. This has to be you making a complete social commentary on our times here.
Yes,
the 30% I own can poison 70% of everything
else.
Yes,
I agree. And in fact, Klob, actually going off of that, with this whole 30% and that it can poison everything, it almost was so heavy-handed. I thought a statement that it almost pulled me out of the universe. Just a second, there was a part of me that flashed and went, "Whoa." Fox.
I didn't.
Like this whole media battle thing. I did right away.
See, it pulled me further in.
Did it really?
It pulled me further in because again, this is supposed to be this perfect society.
Yeah.
This is golds are supposed to be the perfection of man and the builders of everything. But we have this scheming little weasel who's like, well, I went into media.
Yep. You know what it is?
Why?
Media studies.
Why? Because my daddy cut me off and this made me money.
You know what it is? And this is going to be, I think this is probably just a weirdness about me, but the thing that makes me immediately think it is news media from our time is because he throws in actual 30%. The fact that there's an actual percentage point given to it makes me immediately think of like, oh, I'm sitting back watching the nightly business report and I'm seeing a thing of, where news media is at. And it just felt so now our real world. And I'm not saying this is a bad thing. Like honestly, just for the podcast, I'm making a big thing over something that really, when reading it, was not a big thing. But I'm just saying, as you're saying this, just for a second, I was like, ooh, just maybe a little bit, it was out there into making commentary on media.
And again, it totally is making commentary on media.
Yep.
But it brought me further into the world. It brought me further in the world because this is something real people do.
Yeah.
This world is getting deeper and much richer in this book. This is what you're supposed to do with the second book, and he's doing it in spades. This book is, every chapter, things are just expanding.
So the Jackal tells him, I need to get back in good with my dad. I want to reconnect with him. Dad will love me if I bring down the Sons of Ares. Will you help me do that, and I'll make sure that you're protected.
Right. Yeah.
If you'll be the sword to my scepter.
And
which is conveniently chapter 8.
Yeah. I like that.
And not just the Sons of Ares, but the president of the universe here doesn't like my dad either, and I don't like her, so let's bring her down.
Right. So are we going into chapter 8, Scepter and Sword? Definitely, we gotta move.
There's a great moment here in chapter 8 that I will not fully say until we record the next podcast, because there's a wonderful moment of foreshadowing on the very first page of chapter 8.
Let us know.
I would.
Thank you.
Should we be fully?
Yeah. No. I was going to do it anyway.
Okay.
Full disclosure. you were getting my very in the moment opinion of this book because I haven't finished it yet.
Yeah,
I left the room and Bob recorded the synopsis because I don't want it spoiled for me.
You're caught up through what we're doing for this episode.
Yeah, I finished part 1 and part 2.
Yeah, you haven't finished what we'll be doing for the next episode.
So the bombshell that is the end of this book we can't reference right now.
And I would really love to, just because of how wonderful this foreshadowing moment is in there.
And this got... And I'm gonna say the bar
we'll
scene,
reference it then next episode.
Someone remind me.
The bar scene here did start to get a little long for me because it became machinations on politics again.
I agree.
We find out Octavia Alun, who is the president of the universe, she's the sovereign.
Right. In fact, my notes on chapter 8 are huge, and I'm going to skip most of them because that's exactly I was taking notes. I was going to take notes. I was taking notes, and I'm like, I don't care. But yeah, there is things you need to know here. But I agree. Some of this feels a little bit.
Basically, we find out nobody in our main party here, none of our characters who matter here like the sovereign.
Right. Yeah.
Partially because she uses her influence to play dirty politics.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I agree. There was just a slight hint of prequel coming in, so I jumped through chapter 8 to chapter 9.
Until the end of chapter 8. Really, there's not much that.
Oh yeah, the end of chapter 8.
Awesome.
Yes, this is really good.
But the Jackal tells Darrow, "Go up on auction. I'm going to buy you through a proxy.
Mm-hmm. You'll be fine. I got you covered."
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that he does. He makes a deal with the devil.
Right. So now here comes a pink
the moonlight.
A pink enters the bar,
sauntering up.
Yeah.
Oh crap! It's Evie.
It's Evie.
What's going on?
Don't look at me.
But I love Evie, so I'm glad to see her. She's back. But she tells Darrow that she planted a bomb in the bar to kill the jackal.
Specifically at his table.
Yeah, right.
Specifically at that table when she came up there, and he goes and tries to talk to her real quick.
Yeah.
What's going on? I haven't searched for you guys in 2.5 years. Why are we terrorists now?
Yeah. And we find Harmony's been looking for you.
Right.
Wait a minute. Not Ares and not Dancer.
But I like all these levels that are happening, and they make so much sense.
Yet, so that's why I was bringing it up.
That
because he doesn't know.
That you would have the Sons of Ares kind of struggling for their goals, and then you have Darrow with his goals. Like everybody's goals.
Darrow in the dark, not knowing,
and I love this. So that when he finds out what's going on, he immediately does what Evie thinks he's not going to do: rushes to save the jackal.
It's such a cool scene.
Oh, it's great. It is great. Cinematic. It again is a very cinematic.
I just
scene.
saw it slow motion. Just grab Boots, just launching him down the center hole of the Lost Wee Den.
Lost Wee Den.
Right. Just scooping the jackal up as this bomb goes off, disintegrates people around him, blasts out the wall, and the entire place gets collapsed into a singularity.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yeah, there's few writers who a lot of times with sci-fi anyway that can do action. In a way that where you kind of see things very visually as a movie, and Pierce Brown nails it.
And this is how you use grav boots. This is but Pierce writes these grav boots great.
You don't use them when you go camping with your fellow Starship officers,
or as weird sky rollerblades from Jupiter Ascending.
Right.
This is what grav boots are for.
Yeah, this
is how you write them. This is how you use them. And yes, you do when you go camping in Yellowstone.
Because your friend might fall off the cliff rock climbing.
The scene is cool, but in this moment, I don't know why he's saving the jackal. It kind of seems like he reluctantly made that deal with him, and now it's he's just gonna get disintegrated. I'll leave with the Sons of Ares. I am where I need to be now.
Yeah. Part of it is I think Darrow is leaving all options on the table. He's
I feel like he's taking a dumb option though.
Because
in this moment.
But see, I understand this because he's leaving his options open, and he's got a day and a half, 2 days here before he goes up on the auction block, and the minute he goes on the auction block, he becomes fodder for the Bellana family.
Yeah,
he becomes an open target for the Bellana family the minute somebody else buys him.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But he's running away with Sons of Ares. He's not going to go up on the auction block.
We don't know that.
But that's what I'm thinking.
But I feel like he's seeing.
What if that falls through?
I think
then maybe the Jackal can buy me and ship me to Pluto, so I can go see
hiding
Severo.
and he can just fight people. I don't know.
And I think he's seeing a bigger end game because the Sons of Ares are mired in this terroristic. We're just bombing things that have no consequence on the bigger picture. He sees a better path to what he needs to do.
I feel like I'm mired in all of this. But it's done well,
right?
Like if I were Darrow, I would have been dead because I can't think like he can. Like
he's
all this stuff is going
man.
around, and I would have made the wrong decisions at the wrong point.
And from my own thoughts here, just because going back to that moment where Klob and I were kind of under talking Sommer at one point here, and sorry about that if anyone was hearing weird sounds back there. But at the moment, it's Harmony who's looking for him from the Sons of Ares.
Right.
And he even goes, wait, not Dancer and not Ares?
Right.
Compared to those two, does he trust Harmony as much?
No.
Look at what he knows about Harmony's thoughts. It's all chaos, destruction, killing things.
Right.
So if
I like that. That actually is good. I didn't think
if
of
he
that,
follows along with her in his mind right now, because he doesn't know where the other two are, he's probably not going to survive to achieve his final mission. Right. Whereas if he saves the Jackal, he has a chance, and he also ends up stealing a data pad off of Red, so he can go back and talk to the Sons of Ares later.
Right.
So this way he can figure out what is this goal here, what's his goal, and going back to options all over the table.
Yeah.
And we'll see.
Well, we see because, Chapter 9, The Darkness.
Yeah, and this is just a point in the book where the way Book 1, Red Rising, was making me feel, where like I don't ever know where this is going.
Right.
But it did it in a good way. And in the beginning of this book, I feel like I don't know where this is going in a bad way. Where like I feel like I'm like, Darrow, what the heck are you doing, dude?
Yeah. But I think in some ways for me that was its strength. Whereas Red Rising, even by the
was
title,
done differently in there.
I feel Red Rising is your black and white book, where even from the title and everything else, you know that end point. You know that I don't know how this is going to happen, but he is going to rise through all this, and it's very black and white. Whereas this one, everything that I agree with you, Luke. Everything that's going on in the beginning of this, I don't like. But in a good way.
It's chaos in a good way.
Like I'm like just heartsick over what's going on with Mustang. I don't like it because all of the decisions he's making are kind of icky and weird, and I don't like it. He's falling from grace. All of this is icky and gross, but I like it. That's kind of the
and it really
cool part of it.
Like we've talked about a million times now with Darrow, is it shows his humanity in the fact that he's flawed. In the fact that he maybe is making a couple dumb decisions here because when have any of us not been flailing at some point and gone,
yes.
Oh God, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah, it humanizes him. Yeah.
But I'm completely, I'm in the middle. I completely understand what you're saying, Luke, because there were times at the beginning of, especially when we got into the political machinations and we got into him talking to the Jackal here. All of a sudden, Evie shows up. He rescues him from the bomb. Then we have another political machination that goes in when Evie takes him to Harmony. And I'm just like, oh, do we have a direction here?
Right. Where it is directionless.
It's completely. He's completely directionless.
Yes.
Darrow needs to fulfill his mission. He needs to do what he can to fulfill his mission. But we have no idea what the next step is.
Yeah. No. This entire part of the book is.
And he's going to be
Mr. Messy. You're just like, I don't know. I do not know what's going on.
And he's going to be on what side? And he's going to be.
I don't know who's on what side anymore. There's so.
But in some ways, that makes it so. Like every chapter, I'm like, what is going to happen? I have no idea where this is going.
And how can he rise to the point where he needs to be to topple the society when he's going to be auctioned off and probably killed by the Balanas in 24 hours?
Yeah, 2 years ago, he was a miner underground who didn't even know any of this existed. There's going to be some chaos right here.
But anyway, he
4 years ago. 4 years. Sorry, 4 years ago.
He makes his way to the hideout? ? I don't know. He steals a cop car. the
Ares cave.
The Ares cave.
The cop car.
The Ares cave warehouse thing. I don't. He confronts Evie, and we get a little bit of history as to what's been going on with Mickey and the Sons of Ares.
Right.
He's basically enslaved.
Yeah. Weird.
Mickey's in a dungeon somewhere.
Mickey did something awesome. He carved the gold out of a red, and now he's a slave. Like, oh crap.
Right.
But I mean, Mickey wasn't a good guy anyway. That's fine. And
they have this overarching plan of that they have all these bombs that they're going to detonate throughout society on the evening of the summit, right? And since Darrow is now trusted among the Golds, he is supposed to set off a bomb at the summit, is what he's supposed to do.
Well,
sacrificing himself, I take it that he is not supposed to get out of this.
And Darrow looks at this plan and no. That's not how this is supposed to work.
Yeah. Where is Dancer? What is Dancer thinking?
Yeah.
And so Harmony shows him a tape of Eo's death.
Yes.
Shows him a video of Eo's death.
Oh, this is horrible.
And what she said to her sister.
And this was I think we all caught the foreshadowing in book 1.
We knew this
but
was
now
happening.
here's the confirmation.
Yes,
right.
exactly.
And
it's as heartbreaking as
to have to watch him.
It's as heartbreaking to go through this again as when it was in Act 1.
Yeah.
Or excuse me, in book 1.
Yeah, right. No, it is horrible. And in fact, I like even the chapters. It's darkness, and then we're segueing into chapter 10, Broken. I mean, and chapter 10 starts off with, he finds out at the end of chapter 9 and then into chapter 10, him dealing with knowing that
he's broken. He learned Dancer's dead.
Yes.
Dancer's dead.
His
wife was pregnant. Eo was pregnant when she got hanged.
Whatever.
Right.
Strap that bomb on me, I'll kill them all.
Yes.
Right.
I'm done.
And I love this. Again, you are in Act 2. You bring your character down to the pits.
Yeah, actually, what I have written down here, my first note for chapter 10, hell, I'm broken here too, dude. Oh my god.
Yeah, right. It's awful.
Yeah, but it's just him suffering with the loss of his child.
The grand plan is done. I found out that all of my dreams died with Eo.
Yeah.
Give me the bomb.
Give me the bomb. I'm going to do that. I'm going to cause chaos before I go. You know, is basically it. He's just lashing out with emotion, which is very human. Again, this is a very human moment for Darrow, which I like. He's not continuing on this superhero kind of aspect that he had kind of in Red Rising, where he's a lot of times just a superhero. Here, boy, does he get conflicted with things.
So and he starts to pull away from a lot of his friends.
He goes back to the gala.
Yeah, and he goes into basically.
And this is the scene we did at the beginning.
With
Roke.
Yeah.
And
this saves Roke.
Yeah.
He saves Roke, and this is. I'm so glad we chose this as our stinger for this episode.
Yeah.
Because this was such a scene, and I knew as soon as he walked into the door, and as soon as he walked into Roke's door here, I knew something was going to happen.
Yeah, either he was going to spill his guts to
either he was going to finally confess to his one true friend.
Right.
Here, he was finally going to confess to Roke, or maybe he was going to preemptively kill Roke. I didn't know what was going to go on here.
Right.
Maybe like I said, I really was pushing towards, is this going to be confession? Is this going to be his final confession to his priest before he dies?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, but then looking at man, there's a lot of book left. I don't know what's going to go on.
Right.
Are we switching characters?
Yeah. But what I like,
interesting too.
Yeah, and so he goes in here and they have this conversation about home and life, and home is where the heart is, and home finds your light, and you will find your light, brother.
Yeah.
And then Darrow stabs him in the neck with a syringe and knocks him out.
And this whole
so good.
This whole betrayal aspect, and what's not in what they say and what is in their heads is this whole idea of Darrow knowing that he has found a true friend in Roke, and then knowing what he has to do to him and seeing that break on Roke's face. As he does that, it's again one of those gripping moments in chapter 10 where you're just like, oh my gosh. And what is even more brilliant is this lights a fuse. And like either he's got to blow this bomb or Roke knows
something's up.
Something's up. Yeah, like this has.
And it is kind of like it's like confession to him. He doesn't say it.
Yeah.
But let's say he was to do it. Darrow came and knocked me out because he didn't want me to die when he did it. He would have known.
And the way Pierce writes this, and he talks about that last moment of them making eye contact before, and he talks about Roke's eyes before Roke went unconscious, and I'm just, God, it's it's the single tear running down the cheek.
Exactly, yeah, where you hope nobody walks in the room.
I again was in a restaurant eating dinner by myself reading this portion.
But I love it.
You gotta stop doing that to yourself.
You have our phone number. You can't talk to us.
But I love this. I mean, this is a no going back scenario, and I love it. We'll get to it. How
we have a dense chapter coming up here. Chapter 11, Red.
Red, right? This is right before the break in part 2. But yeah, Darrow is just about to set off this bomb. Right, he goes to the summit. And I don't know if you have things you want to say before this whole last bit.
Well, it's not really a summit. It's the dinner party.
It is just a giant dinner party.
It is a giant political dinner party where everybody's dressed up and everybody's smiling, and the Balanas are looking at him from the side table, going, "We're coming for you."
Yeah, and we even get like the whole like families are doing this thing where they're supposed to share a lift up, but they are like pretending to oh, I'm sorry, somebody's hurt over here because we want to be the first ones in. It's
right.
You get the little bit of the
and we have the Balana entrance here, which again another thing that broke my heart because he's standing there and he's standing there and he's being socially awkward and he's just standing there. A couple of people have asked him where Roke is, and he's like, I don't know. He should be up here any time now.
Said he wasn't feeling good. I don't think he's coming.
And so he's sitting here sipping his drink, being socially awkward, and then the big procession of the Balana family comes in, and he turns, and on Cassius's arm is freaking Mustang.
Okay, I don't know what this did to you, but the stuff that happens here and what Cassius says to him and everything, I was so
angry,
pissed in the I was so ticked in all this. What Mustang or what Cassius says about
Before
Mustang
you
and everything.
get too far there. No, pause. Because I want to point out just quick. Cassius says nothing to him in this chapter.
Karnas.
He talks to Karnas.
Oh, that's
about
okay.
some moments.
True.
Because later on there is going to be a wonderful moment where Cassius, not wonderful now that I say that, where Cassius does start saying things.
That's
but
true.
at the moment he does meet
I've
with,
merged it in
he
my
meets
mind.
with Karnas.
Yeah.
And Karnas, you find out he really is a monster. Going back to, well,
he's
I
over there
killed Julian. Yeah, that's fine. He was terrible anyway. Whoa, that's your own brother. I didn't care anyway.
He was a wuss.
He was a wuss.
And it's the dinner party.
Oh.
Karnas is over by a tree, double fisting wine.
Karnas is the monster.
Even before that,
but we keep getting him.
Darrow runs into Antonia.
Yeah.
There's this little quick little snippet that he pours wine on the ground and just says I hate you quick and leaves.
With some better word choices.
He's super awkward.
And he keeps peeking around the bushes over at the Balana table.
Oh my god! Yeah,
there's Mustang. There's Mustang just giggling at the Balana table on Cassius's arm. And I'm going to keep going back to this. You started this Karate Kid thing. This is Elizabeth's shoe on Billy Zabka's arm.
Yes,
and
it is.
I'm gonna bring it back.
Oh my god, good one.
The quote that he says to Antonia is she's like, oh, didn't you miss me? He's like, a man can never miss chlamydia, and he pours oh, Darrow. Yeah, it's super cool.
I forgot about that.
Yes,
right.
Neil just pointed out, yeah,
because I had it written down in my notes there.
But you know what? You know what I love is again, Pierce is setting up this drum beat in your head where you have come to love a lot of these golds, but now with this chapter, you don't care anymore, and you almost hear that drum beat in your ears. You're like, pull that pin. You pull that pin. You have lost Mustang. Mustang's just arrived on Cassius's arm. Like I now hate you all. Do it, Darrow. Kill them all.
And he has this,
and it's almost like that drum beat stops, and EO comes through. Right, and what I love it is
he runs away from the party and he's having this breakdown moment that is written so well and almost these staccato sentences down the page.
Yes,
and
yes.
I don't know. We've all been teenage boys and in love, and I feel like I've been there.
Yes, that's exactly what he taps into.
You leave the party and you're off on your own. And you're just having this freaking breakdown. You're like, I'm gonna, and he's like This is he pulls the ring out and he's ready. He's like
yeah.
And he just can't say break the chains to blow the bomb.
Yeah, right.
Oh, this is so cool.
It is so good. Because again, I feel like in a lot of ways, Darrow, I think as a reader, you feel exactly what Darrow feels.
Yeah.
You go through the emotions with him, which is just amazing to me. I haven't had a book do this to me.
Ooh, what are you doing to me?
I'm climaxing as the book is climaxing.
I'm going to point something out here, and this is.
Why are you ruining this moment?
It's fine. We ground us,
because we're floating like bubbleheads.
We are at a large gala.
Yeah.
The president of the universe is going to show up here pretty soon.
Yeah.
She's going to be here. We have we have all these major families. We have all these senators and lords of moons and lords of planets and everything else. Why is there no Secret Service here?
Oh, no, there is, because they can't bring their grab boots, they can't bring their grays.
But he walked in with a bomb?
Disguised as a necklace. It was one of Mickey's crazy inventions.
It's a MacGuffin. I'm giving them this MacGuffin.
But I feel
the
that
emotions are so strong. It's a MacGuffin.
But I feel that in a society like
I
this,
agree.
in a technologically advanced society like this, there should have been a screening process somewhere. There should have been more like, sneaking it in through the back and with the caterer table or something like that, because there's no metal
I chalked it
detector
up to Mickey being a genius.
I was going to say, sometimes
Mickey
you can go with two threads. You can go with the logic or the emotional thread. And with this one, I feel like the trajectory of the emotion, the through line of that has been so strong. But at this point, I'm forgetting logic and it's true club. In a society this high tech, there should have been some sort of screening process. We should have been let in on the how are you going to sneak this past. But I didn't care. Yeah. Like this was the MacGuffin I'm giving.
There's radio waves. There's obviously some radio waves that are coming from the bomb to his detonator.
Yeah.
Shouldn't there be something in picking
especially in a future society that's this advanced where they can carve people.
And I agree. And how paranoid Octavia Alun is.
True. Yeah. True. I guess we don't know that at this point, but later on, like in retrospect, like she's like some paranoid old bat. Why is she?
If you're the sovereign of the universe and you have all of these golds running around who want to take your position, I feel you would be more paranoid. But like I said, that is my one thing here. Right. That is my. And
it's a very good point. It's a very good.
I think it's a good point. Yeah.
And this just. Again, Pierce Brown with these very powerful closing words, where Darrow realizes what he needs to do now after what he thinks of EO and what she would want, and this isn't it. This isn't it.
Right.
And then it just ends on Civil War. Period. End of part 1. Oh my God!
Mind blowing.
I'm like, well, wait.
What's he gonna do?
Like, wait, is he gonna pit Iron Man against Captain America? How's he gonna do that? But anyway, that closes out on
kind of.
Oh wow! But that closes out on part 1 here. Any closing statements on part 1 before we?
No. Just what an emotional roller coaster,
and a great way to Pierce breaks
just getting started. Boy.
Yeah, we do fanboy a little bit, but Pierce does his breaks great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we started off the first book. Every break was a death.
Yes,
we get here. Yeah, quote unquote. Yeah. But every break was quote.
Was a death into a new consciousness.
Darrow's a death for Darrow.
And so now we've gone further, and now we've established Darrow's more of an adult, and Darrow's going through all these machinations, and we've gotten to such a low point where he's like, "Screw it, I'm going to pull the trigger. I'm going to blow everything up." And he comes up with this new idea, which we don't know what his new idea is yet, but he comes up with this new idea. And he ends it here right before shooting out of the birth canal after the death. To where, oh crap! Now I got to start part 2.
Right.
It's 3:30 in the morning. Yep. I've just finished part 1. I need to go to bed for work in the morning, but I can't leave it here.
What do you mean Civil War? Fine, I'll keep reading.
Every part is a day crescendo. It starts high, narrows down to nothing. Just the low point. Yeah. All right, so it's on to part 2, break. Or did you say brack?
No, not even. It's not an argument like the first one.
All right.
Chapter 12, Blood for Blood.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh man. So we reached kind of this climactic moment. What is Darrow going to do when he walks back in? Oh man, decides to challenge Cassius because I've been reading
a scene, walking on tables.
Oh, and I love this. I love this. Just jumps up on the table, starts walking through, kicking plates. Come at me.
Yeah, because I'm going. Okay, Civil War, great. How are you going to do this? Right, and I love this.
Okay, so you're walking on tables and you're making a fool of yourself.
Yeah. How is this leading to Civil War?
It is. I don't get it, but I like it.
Yeah, I like it. It's great, but in the back of my mind, I'm kind of going, what is your plan here for Civil War? What's going on?
You're going to fight Cassius? Dude, you're going to die.
Yeah, and you're just getting petty over Mustang. I'm like, again, Civil War, how is this going to lead to it?
Cool, walks up to him on the table, dumps wine into his lap. That's so cool.
But at the same time, the base part of me, that's exactly what I wanted.
Oh, right? Exactly.
Exactly. This is exactly what I want.
For sure.
Yeah. So Darrow has this trick up his sleeve. He has been training with Lorne Akros.
And I have a problem.
Oh.
Okay. I have a huge issue with this.
Okay.
He's been training with Lorne since he got out of the academy, and later we find out he's been training early morning before the sun comes up.
Right.
Going back to Klobb's thing in the last chapter. Okay. Darrow's kind of an enemy of all these places. Wouldn't they have had spies watching him?
Because Lorne is a big deal.
Lorne is a big deal. And at the point where Darrow starts training with Lorne, Lorne is still a member of the Olympic Knights at this time.
Right.
And I have...
It's like, you're training Kung Fu with Jackie
You're training
Chan.
with this person who is world famous.
Right.
People know that he doesn't take any students yet. He took you for some reason.
Right.
And no one notices this?
Yeah,
And again, going back to Institute to Academy, how much time is that?
2 years.
But is it 2 exactly? When did he first get into the academy?
Pretty much right after he came out.
Yeah, all they say is 2 years, so I assume it is like almost 2 exactly.
So would it be... But now, going back to it, space travel.
Mm-hmm.
Is that... How fast are we talking for that?
I don't know.
Because
But
there's
the
this
academy's
whole-
at the moon, remember?
Yeah.
But when they go back to it, because they still have the whole space battles elsewhere.
Well, and we'll find out Lorne right now is on Ganymede.
Right. And my issue here...
How fast is space travel? I guess I don't know. I don't know in this universe.
With this whole thing, he's been training between Institute and Academy. Let's say it is 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 years of training with Lorne is the same as 15 plus years of constant training.
I took that
How long did Luke spend on Dagobah?
Don't even.
No. We won't cover 3 days. But
it's true. It's true.
I took that like just as a merit to Lorne's ability.
And
he's that good that he could...
Yeah, because Cassius has never trained under Lorne, right? So Lorne's ways are just that much better. And at the same time, this is just that training montage in some ways. Like, he's been training, whatever. Again, giving him a MacGuffin or...
But again, it just goes to the whole timing things we've talked about before. This seems way too fast amount of time. Look at currently MMA fighters as an example. Okay, I picked up jiu-jitsu 2 years ago. I am ready to take you down.
I know Obsidians versus.
But I don't know. I don't know. That plays out that way. Though. I don't agree that just because you've learned something for the last 15 years, somebody else can't pick up in a few months and learn it and beat you.
I think it's talked about here too, like the cravat versus the breaking willow fighting styles.
It's the styles
where it's always like Cassius is so good because cravat is usually just 6 steps, recoil, learn, go back.
Right.
But what Cassius does is he always goes to like 7 and it like screws everybody up. It's I don't know if it's 7, but it's more than 6.
Yep. It's 7.
But then Darrow just like switches fighting stances and then starts
Throws
playing
them all
this
off.
more of this like fluid. There are no breaks in it. So he knows, like, okay, either 6, 7, he's going to stop, and I'm just going to sidestep around him and take him down.
Right. Yeah, I never gave it a thought.
But it still just goes back to the whole...
It is a good point, though, Neil.
And going back to that whole, how does no one realize he's been training?
I don't know
How can it be that secretive? I mean,
maybe Roke knows. I don't know.
Well, we don't know what Roke knows right now because he's sleeping somewhere.
He doesn't feel good.
And there's always downtime, and you go into this. You mentioned the 7 steps, and what is breaking willow? Breaking willow is 9 or whatever it is.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that, where there's the extra steps, and the descriptions here are so great. And I have to think that Pierce Brown is going again. I mentioned this in Red Rising, back to the capoeira, the Brazilian dance fighting, because the way he describes those motions and the fluid, and like you said, all of a sudden, Darrow's fighting him now, and
but that twist though,
it becomes this. I'll reference The Princess Bride again. It becomes the. But I'm not left-handed.
I don't believe that you're gonna go reference The Princess Bride, but we've been referencing it this whole time. This is Karate Kid. Like he's learned. He is.
But this scene,
he's totally right. Like I'm not left-handed.
This scene is the whole fight on the cliff of but I'm not left-handed, and he throws the sword. Oh, I'm not, and oh crap, what the heck's going on?
But this whole fighting style issue with this to me is all just Karate Kid. I wouldn't even go to Capoeira or whatever. It's
those the description of those dance moves.
Yeah, and to me it's just this is like kung fu movies where school versus school, and he has just learned the superior art. It's just the better art.
It just still keeps coming back to Claude bringing up the stupid Secret Service, the last one, which I hadn't thought of until he said it.
And now Neil's on this warpath.
How does no one know?
I don't know, but I give it to him.
And where is he going to train with him? Is he training with him on?
But I'm okay with us not knowing, because I think going back to all those details would have taken me out of this.
This already took me out of it, though. There's my problem.
And see, I get it.
This takes me out. And only my second read through, though. First read through, I didn't even care.
Oh,
second read through, now it's like, wait.
Now you're getting into the
because now I had to think about stuff.
And I understand
Dungeons and Dweebs lens.
I understand what you're saying, Neil.
This is when you go back and go, wait, how long was Luke on Dagobah? This is that moment, yeah.
And for me, a lot of those questions were answered in what we'll talk about in the next podcast. When we actually meet Lauren. We go through that. And a lot of those questions were answered for me there.
Right. So anyway, let's get into how does this lead to civil war. So this fight goes down, and he ends up cutting off Cassius's arm, which brutal. I love this.
Yeah, super cool. The Sovereign stops the fight.
Right, he is going to kill Cassius.
Yeah.
I want him to kill
Cassius. The blood feud. This is what is owed to him.
Right,
and it's because of, I guess the Bellinas the whole time are always trying to go out on the field, but the dad is like, no, we're not doing this.
Yeah, honor.
But then the mom breaks, looks to the Sovereign, and she stops the fight right before he's about to.
Yes. And so then Darrow has
betrayal.
So Darrow has this whole hey, the laws of society can't be changed, right? We're in this blood feud, and she kind of changes it on the fly, and then it's like the light bulb goes off. Oh, this is how you're doing the civil war. You're questioning the Sovereign and saying, oh, the Sovereign is making rules up, as she goes along.
Yeah, and Sovereign's making rules up as she goes along here, and we have this betrayal after the arm is cut off, and kind of Darrow's kind of going for that final blow, and Tactus ends up being the one that stops. One of his own men stops him, which again, harkening back to the last podcast, I talked about the fact that yes, Tactus was right. Tactus jumped on his coattails after the whole whipping thing, but Tactus did it for Tactus.
Right.
Tactus thinks he sees how this is going to go. He thinks he sees he's on the losing side, so he jumps up. He jumps up and tries to defend the winning side here because, well, I'm in this for me.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Which he will always kind of. He's that character. Yeah.
But this chaos ensues. Bellanas versus Augustins with the
every other family.
Every family's taking
on their
sides.
Yeah. Right.
There's all this chaos going on. Just a couple little pieces that I pulled out of there that I really liked. All of Darrow's howlers start howling.
Yeah.
Who are there anyway. All of his howlers were there. There's howling going on in the crowd. Antonia gets punched in the face. I love that. It's so good. Towards the end, they're starting to escape, and Leto gets killed.
Right.
Because...
And I liked Leto, actually.
I guess I didn't have a problem with him.
I didn't like Pliny.
He was just kind of there.
He was just a guy who was on the wrong, on the opposite side of Darrow. But he was a good guy.
Now is Leto meant to be
Jared?
August?
No. The guy who was the Joker.
Oh, okay. Is Leto meant to be Augustus's actual son?
No, he's not. He's
he looks
his replacement son.
His replacement son. And so that's Pliny knows that if he can figure out how to get Darrow out of the way here, he can let Leto be Augustus's heir. That way, Pliny can be constantly in his ear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
But I really felt for Leto here because of the fact that Leto just kind of seemed like an okay guy who just kind of got caught up in all the political.
Right, exactly.
And he was trying to do stuff. He was trying to make the best decisions for himself and for the family in here. He's just wasn't quite bright enough to realize how he was being manipulated.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. The Leto gets killed by Carnus because Jackal hits him with a this dart that kind of like slows him down. And this chapter closes out with the line, "I've made a deal with the devil,"
which was a great thing because Jackal, the true heir, to Augustus's actual son, just eliminated his competition.
Yep. Right. Ooh, I like this. So we're into
chapter and nobody knows.
Chapter 13, Mad Dogs. Darrow and company flee with Augustus and the Praetor.
They try to make their way to the ship. Yeah. There's a little cameo from Lilith.
Yeah.
Talk of other families. A death squad reigns from above after they finally make their way to the hangar.
Right. And they're confronted by these obsidian Praetorians and a rage knight.
The ship is gone.
Right.
It's running back to your car in the parking lot after the fight and realizing your car's gone.
It's just one more.
Grabbing the attendant.
In the wheel.
Grabbing the attendant. Where's my car? Oh, the president had me move all the cars 2 hours ago. What? Oh crap!
Right?
What's coming from above?
Which does speak to the fact of how kind of keyed in Octavia is to. We talked about the Secret Service thing and protecting herself. Get the feeling that she
probably didn't need to be protected.
She had
a plan.
She kind of thought something was going to happen here, so she kind of made sure she had the only escape.
I took it the other. I think she had a plan. Like she was going to kill them.
Mm-hmm.
There at this point, yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, because the Bolanas and her are both going for the same.
Yep, same idea. And the other part, going back to the cameo, as you said, of Lilith, they're actually wiping out children, and it's full. It's almost
full.
Here's the whole family. Okay, we're going to try to cut the whole family, every single one who is our enemy. So then,
of course, because you don't want to leave anybody who can grow up and seek revenge.
Yeah.
And I think that's
which is brutal.
Yeah, very brutal.
But that's their society.
Kill them now or fight them years later.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Which is brutal and Roman.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
that was something that the Roman patriarchs did to eliminate their families. Is you don't leave anybody who can grow up and come seek revenge.
Right, exactly.
Who are barbarians? Non-Romans, said the Romans.
Nice.
99 obsidians rain down in pairs of threes, along with a Olympic knight.
Yes. The Rage Knight.
A Rage Knight. I love
Gory
this.
damn, it's Fitchner.
It's Fitchner, yes.
God. Fitchner.
Once we get the reveal that it's Fitchner as the Rage Knight, Luke.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I couldn't not picture Rip Torn in with a pot belly and this armor that doesn't really fit him.
You know what? Same thing. I got the same thing. Yeah.
What you can dodge an iron blade, you can dodge a razor.
Yeah, right. Rip Torn?
I don't know what, it's in my head, I just this.
See, I constantly see him as old Kurt Russell. So that's what I always see. But the same thing with a pot belly.
Yeah, he's written so well. I mean,
I believe, don't they describe him as being kind of thin? In his armor, but it doesn't matter sometimes what an author writes. It's whatever I want to see. I see him as a pot.
I guess just some older guy always goes, I boil. I don't know, he has a pot belly in my head.
Right, I don't know. Right. With his helmet, that's kind of squeezing his cheeks just a little bit too much.
For sure.
Well, that's got this my image
this snubble and stuff. No, I think that's
my image is a clob of him.
What?
From the last episode.
Oh,
from our last one, because he was the one who was doing the training. He's the one who, Padawan, I've been there. Yep. He's sitting there. So that's what I keep having. Now I can't picture Klob as him anymore. Well, now I got Rip Torn stuck in my head.
Klob is too young.
No, well, they said he was mid-30s to 40s.
Okay.
Fitchner is?
Yeah.
Boy, have I been wrong on my visualizations of him.
Well, now I'm second guessing everything I thought. I didn't think
I've always been picturing him in his 50s.
But I guess him maybe 40s, but I never.
Because they always talked about him as kind of I've always pictured this old, worn-out proctor.
Well, my thinking is, okay, if I go back to
and now he's as old as me. Ding it!
I go back to Severo being 18.
Okay.
Yeah, him
at the start of it, and okay, when did Fitchner have his kids? and just working my way through that way. I don't see him as being that 50.
Oh, so you're just basing it off of the fact that he's got Severo as his
Severo
kid.
at 18, I'm going Thailand. And again, going back to my mental
every
picture,
old Hollywood star who's 80 and has a 3-year-old.
Yeah. And again, just going back to my mental picture, I love how my mental picture, a Klob gets shot down within seconds here, yet everyone else, nope!
I prefer mine of old.
I prefer mine of Klob because of just the ways and mannerisms that I've seen over the past years knowing Klob. I am sorry that I picture Klob as a strong character.
And this is why
has some great moments
long. But they're free.
Yeah. All right, everybody settle down. You've made some trouble for me. I want to go back to my room.
See what I mean? And that's how he does.
True.
Well, and I love the descriptions of the knight uniform or the knight armor.
Yeah, I do
because
too.
I have this great picture in my head, and I'd like to think Pierce was going for this, but I don't know if he is, of this weird combination of the old Stargate armor.
Oh yeah,
with Iron Man, with you know, Knights of the Round Table armor.
I do the exact same thing.
Where it's, you know, the full-on knight uniform, but it's got grav boots and it's got the and it's got the
folding back helmet.
the Stardate folding back, like
Stargate. Yeah, definitely Stargate elements. Yes,
especially when a certain other friend comes back in.
Yes,
later on.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. There's. And just at the end of the chapter, like Augustus is lipping off, the Jackal's lipping off, and he just takes him down with a pulse fist.
Yeah.
I love
pulse fists.
One shot, one kill, just tukunk, and they're just on the ground.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're on to chapter 14, the Sovereign, and Darrow is taken before the Sovereign.
Yes.
Where he's asked to defend why he attacked Cassius.
Yes. And this was a cool scene for me. This became a slow scene after all the action.
And it's needed. I think it's needed.
Yep. It brought the tempo down.
Yep.
And she brings this box up in front of him.
Her 8-year-old grandson is there, Lysander.
Yes. Lysander.
As is Aya.
Yeah. Who was Lorne's former last student as well.
Yeah. The Sovereign and her furries. I mean, Furies. I kept reading furries. And
that's a whole other book.
I know. It was driving me nuts. I'm like, it's not furries. There would not be furries there. But
there could be.
Furries, Furies.
With the
Furies,
pigs, they probably would be.
Oh man, but
I like this again. Aya is kind of setting up again that kind of whole kung fu mentality, where immediately when we meet her and she's been under Lorne as well. Well, her and Darrow are gonna fight at some point. Two kids of the same school are gonna have to fight.
Who's the top?
Yeah. Who's the top? Right.
This will finish the training or the one who did not.
So, the Sovereign is going to say she values truth, and she pulls out this box, right?
Yeah, and it kind of closes out with him like just Darrow freaking out about what's in the box.
What is inside the box?
The winner of this game gets whatever they want from the other.
Yep. You know, in all honesty, I feel there's a chapter break here that's not necessary. If there's like, I'm gonna be super nitpicky here, where it's trying to be like cliffhanger, like he looks in the box. And I'm going, what's in the box? Oh, it's a couple of worms.
Yeah, I'm in college watching Netflix again.
Yeah, exactly. This is Dune with the Bene Gesserit.
Yeah, well, and this is like Luke said, this is Netflix or the dying thing that is network TV.
I still watch All in the Family.
Yes. But this is the cliffhanger moment where you end the episode. End that episode. Tune in next week to find out what's in the box.
Right.
Yeah.
But I just felt it was unnecessary because it was kind of a shorter chapter. I felt it could just.
It was a very short chapter.
It could just keep flowing. I didn't know what this was about.
What a cool idea with the Honesty Vipers.
I like the Honesty Vipers, but honestly, Bene Gesserit, I just felt it was from Dune where they had to place the hand inside the box and live up to how much pain you go through. But I thought it was very cool. I really liked this.
I do like how it was.
And it sets up a cool game between the two of them. Truth game.
It took me a minute because I kept trying to look at this going, are they pit vipers?
They are.
They were bred with a pit viper.
They were bred with a pit viper.
But that's what I thought.
They've been carved.
But does that mean that since Darrow's been bit by the pit vipers and he has some immunity from that, from being a red in the mines, was he going to be able?
I didn't think of that because he kind of half distorts in some ways the truth during this. And is he immune to that?
Yeah,
That's brilliant.
Because that was something that the Reds did to a lot of their kids is they had them bit by pit vipers so that they would have some immunity to go with
I like that.
That's good. Yeah, that's a good catch.
Yeah, I didn't catch that at all, but I wonder.
They're pit viper, scorpion,
and centipede. Yeah.
Centipede, yeah.
That
paints one heck of a picture.
And then wrapped around your arm. I don't really
like how they're actually referenced that they were created on Earth. They were created in a Himalayan laboratory. So I'm sitting there wondering, is that all that Earth is now? Is just creating these monstrosities down
on
there?
Earth?
Actually, that even brings up something kind of cool, like maybe the only thing left on Earth is like high elevation societies.
And is there a way? Is there a way to
the ice cap's melted? It's all just flooded.
Yeah. Is there a way to beat this test? Can you be strong enough to to hold your pulse down or to beat this test? Or what is it? Skyfall, at the beginning of Skyfall. Where you have drunk James Bond taking drinks with the scorpion on his wrist against the guy.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, very quickly into Chapter 15, Truth, we know what these things are. They start asking each other questions. You win the game by making the other person lie.
Right. And it's open. You can ask anything.
They're asking each other anything. I do like the explanation of like, well, he's asking this because of this. Yep. He's trying not to let's not ask too many tactical questions because that's going to be a red flag.
But all of this ends up, there's a lot of cool things that happen here, but in the end, Darrow asks if the Sovereign...
I want to go back. I want to rewind. I need to say it at least once an episode. It's now required. Before he gets to his final question, who comes back into the room?
Mustang
comes
and she's all sassy.
And she is pissed off.
She's all sassy.
And we find out that one of the reasons she was on Cassius's arm was because of the fact that she is in with the Sovereign right now.
Yeah.
Right, yep. And she's pissed off about how during this whole thing, 2 families are now completely wiped out, which we just referenced in that last chapter. There's hundreds dead, all this. Some of them had no reason. And then it gets to the question that...
It does. And Mustang comes in and it's Darrow with his like a little inner monologue, and he remembers something Karnas said about the 6th course at the gala.
Yep.
And he asked the question, were you going to kill the Augustans during the 6th course? And the creature's tail strikes the Sovereign.
Yeah.
Chapter ends.
Right.
Again with that Netflix chapter ending.
Yeah, but this I think is an appropriate place for it to end. It was really good, and this is key because Mustang is present for this.
Yes,
and this is going to.
I wanted to make sure we established.
That's good catch, Neil.
Because Mustang is the Archgovernor's daughter,
right? And so this is going to flip her allegiances.
But she's been in, the service of the Sovereign.
Right.
And
now you find out trying to save her family.
Yeah.
Or protect her family.
Or thinking she was protecting her family. Yeah. And you get the feeling here that the Sovereign lied to her and went, well, as long as you work for me, your family's going to be okay. The Sovereign gets, gets stung, goes down.
Has to reveal it in front
of her. And we have...
Almost stung.
Well, just kidding, Fishner saves her.
Yeah.
With it's coming and he's...
Yeah.
Which needs to happen. I mean, it's not really a gimme. That has to happen because the Sovereign's not going to put herself up to this game.
I guess I was waiting for, her oracle to not be poisonous or something. I was thinking the game's rigged.
I've spent my entire life building up
immunity to pit viper powder.
I got to iocane powder.
Princess Bride. Mark another one down.
Yeah. I like it. I'm okay with it.
And then we start going through and
so Mustang is not happy about this. Sorry.
No. Go ahead. Don't take it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So Mustang loses her crap.
She flips her crap.
Yeah. Right. And yells at the Sovereign saying that she promised that they wouldn't be hurt. Right, so betrayal, and I like this because now Mustang's going to be flipping to Darrow's side, right?
But we find out as we go through here that there's been plans in the work that Darrow doesn't know about. Because, boom, who shows up on the scene now?
Where are you skipping?
Whoa, sorry.
Hang on. Yeah, where are you skipping?
So hang on. Sorry.
Yeah, you just jumped to 17 and stuff, but it's fine. Yeah. But the last part before we jump to the person who's jumping ahead, because in 16, there was a moment where I completely missed this the first time I read through. Mustang takes out a gold ring. She starts playing around with it. I'm like, I don't care about a stupid ring. Later, we're going to find out it actually means something.
Yeah. But I've just learned, even little things like that with Pierce Brown,
everything
you've got to pay attention to mean something.
Because then at the end of 16, there's this really nice moment I like where she's talking about how, well, Dad we used to ride through forests together. We used to do all this stuff. Mm-hmm. He's dead. I don't care what you do to the new one. So she tells the Sovereign she doesn't care what happens to her dad.
Right.
She doesn't care. But then we find out there's a lot of things behind the scenes. And Klob, I know you love this moment because you tried to jump ahead to it.
Well, and there is we get a little bit. The sun set off the bombs anyway.
Right.
Yeah. They talk about how the media is not allowed to report on this. What is it? Darrow just gets up and leaves. And there's like she's still trying to like convince Darrow like, okay, you beat me, you can like you can come to my side still. He's like, I'm going to my room and I don't even care.
Right. And so now jump to 17. Mm-hmm. What the storm brings. He's in his new living quarters. There's a pink in there laying around waiting for him. Mm. Yeah, but he wants none of that.
Yeah.
Right?
And I have right there. That's where I have my prediction written down.
You have a prediction?
I have a prediction written down. We'll come back to it, whether or not it's true or not. Like my prediction on the twist at the end of this book.
Okay.
It's written here. It's here.
Well, you can say it.
You can say it.
No, because your guys' faces will tell me whether or not it's true. And
hang on, I won't.
We won't look.
No,
darn it. Okay.
No. We'll come back.
Whoa. We missed like a whole thing here.
No, we haven't gotten to it yet.
We just haven't gotten to the thing yet.
I was talking about where things have clicked in my head, and I think I know what's going on.
What's going on? Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, we will.
Because
it was at chapter 17 in this book where I got the idea.
And Klob, there's something that the storm brings. What specifically does the storm bring back into Darrow's life?
Well, several Batmans is way back.
Wait, Batman's, but it's this really cool like
Wolf Batman.
Another pink comes in, hands him a hollow cube, and like escorts the other pink out, and it's Mustang's face, and just says, "Get down."
Yeah.
So Hollywood, but like in the best way.
It is very Hollywood, but in the best way.
And then the windows break.
In he comes.
And Severo
Here he comes back from Pluto.
And Severo shows up. He's no longer in the wolf cloak anymore, but he's got the wolf armor.
Oh, he
has the pelt.
He has
both.
He's still got the glow, but he's got the headpiece. His armored headpiece, which again, going back to Stargate and Iron Man and everything, is this big like foldable wolf head that comes out over.
And you know what I'm thinking? The nerd in me is going, oh, when they make these into movies, I'll have one figure from Red Rising, and I'll have the really cool action figure of him from Golden Sun.
Yeah. Yes. I know this is one of my favorite chapters of this book right here. This is nuts. Like I mean, this is the book like picking up like it's less of the it's chaos, but it's less of the like unknowing chaos from before. But it's true to this trilogy where in the first book, like, we're like, okay, he's in a mine underground, and they're trying to terraform Mars. Just kidding, Mars is terraformed. Where the story is taking these curves, and I never know where the heck it's gonna go.
Right.
And finally, but I think maybe it's just because like finally it's a curve, and like Severo's back, it's a good curve. I don't know.
Well, and it's not only Severo, it's Severo and
all
the Howlers.
The Howlers are back. Well, most of the Howlers.
Well, most of the Howlers.
The Howlers with names are back.
I think what works a lot of times about what Pierce Brown does in his writing is these twists and turns make sense. A lot of times in books, you have twists and turns that come out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. Like an attack will happen from a character you've never even heard of that pushes the plot in somewhere. All of this is happening very organically. It feels like, this is what should... When we find out why Severo comes or who's called him, that it makes sense why he's showing up at this time.
Oh, exactly. And he comes in here and he just comes in here, picks up Darrow here to help him escape the Sovereign's clutches. And what are you doing here? Well, Mustang called me.
Right.
And going back to that ring, it was the ring that he gave her right before he left to go to the academy. Yeah, and that was how he knew. Oh, everything will be fine. He didn't know how it would be fine
because he actually did notice when she walked in on Cassius's arm that she wasn't wearing the ring he gave her.
Yep, correct.
Then she pulls it out, and then so we're going into
and Severo also has a present.
Yeah, Severo's got a bag.
Severo's got a bag. That's not the cook.
I pictured this bag being small.
I pictured it as a backpack at first, and then I started reading more.
Yeah. I mean, like I'm like, it's like a bag that's wiggling, and I'm like, what, did he take one of the oracles? Like I thought it was like a small bag, like a little like. But okay, anyway, I'm in chapter 18.
Kid's 8. Yeah. I thought it's the flour sack.
Right.
We took a flour sack from the kitchen. We stuffed the 8-year-old kid in there, and we just went up.
Right. So then we're into chapter 18, right? Bloodstains.
Bloodstains. Seems as though the Howlers have the upper hand here. They're sneaking off into the night.
The Howlers get the upper hand because they were the ones who were able to show up in full armor.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and they're meeting up. They're going to meet up with Mustang, who has the ship.
Yep. And they take to the skies.
Yeah, this is pretty cool.
I needed this because I needed this to feel kind of galactic.
They want to take to the skies. There's a problem before they get there.
Yes, they're getting in the ship, and oh god, this broke my heart.
Man,
and
your heart breaks a lot during this.
Especially,
I'm sorry, Manager, but
yes, but thank you, Pierce, for breaking my heart.
What?
But as they're getting,
what do you mean? What happened? You don't remember this?
Especially
when that breaks your heart.
Yeah, I think you're
thinking about it now, especially after we just recorded that intro.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch.
And we just recorded that intro because as we're getting on,
I think you're skipping a lot here.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, I know. Well,
What are you talking about? What's the thing that breaks your heart?
Where are you guys take Quinn?
Huh?
He's talking about Quinn.
I'm talking about Quinn.
It's like an entire chapter of battles.
Okay. Oh yeah. Oh, it kills Quinn. I didn't care about
Bob.
Whoa! I didn't. I know. This is horrible.
Oh wait.
Pierce Brown has made me feel the feels for every character. I didn't.
Okay, let me rephrase. I didn't feel for Quinn. I felt for Roke.
Yeah.
Yes, I felt for Roke.
Okay,
because that was who he loved.
Because Roke, especially after the scene that we did, where Roke talks about how Quinn brought him back from the darkness.
The only thing I want to make a nod to, I mean, like it's just a super cool action spy scene. Them going up through the villa.
Yeah,
down
agree.
through the villa. They find like, oh hey, they go through a jam field. And then they realize there's a jam field within a jam field. That was super cool. So like what was it? Like they put a rock on a banister and it was like vibrating. Like, oh crap! They go down one more flight of stairs, and that's when like chaos is breaking loose down there.
Right.
What Darrow meets up with Aya? What are you guys calling?
Well, we got we got to rewind a lot here because we're missing. Because first he goes to rescue everyone from Augustus's group.
Yeah, that's what they
And we were jumping already to them flying away, and they didn't get to that yet. So we're sorry for
we're all over the place. We're all over the place.
Sorry, we get excited.
We got very excited. But timeline: they go rescue all their friends.
Right.
Then they start trying to escape, and they run into Aya again.
Yeah.
And we reveal the bargaining chip that's actually in the bag.
Yeah.
Which is they've kidnapped the grandson to Octavia, and it's Lysander.
Right.
So now they have a bargaining chip hostage, which leads into almost everyone getting off to fly away except for Quinn, who gets killed by Aya.
Right. Yeah, grabbed by the hair and drugged down, and just with her bare fist beaten into a coma.
Yeah, that is pretty.
And speaking of who we've kidnapped here, I do want to bring this up because I did actually notice this. Pierce Brown, again, bastardizing the Roman and Greek culture throughout all this of what we've hung on to in the future, and this is our future.
Okay. Yeah.
Lysander is a Spartan admiral. From
I knew that name was familiar.
Yes. Yeah. And he was a Spartan admiral. He won a bunch of battles. He did all this, but just it's again bringing those names back to the forefront. And what do you name your kid? What do you name your kid who's probably going to be the next ruler of the universe? Well, you name him after the admiral.
No. Okay.
But actually, they were kind of bloody battles, and he cheated a bunch. But
hey, that's perfect gold culture then.
Exactly.
Perfect gold culture. Actually.
Right.
I thought you were going to
Yes, actually.
Oh, my bad.
Into chapter 19, Stork. It's a gory damn fine escape until Tactus betrays everyone.
I'm sorry. I really kind of like Tactus's character. Going back to the last book. No. Think back to the last book. I had said, I don't know if I like him or not. Because he's always thinking about himself.
Initially slimy.
He's initially slimy, then he was good, then he betrayed Darrow, but then he just backed up Darrow again. Now he's taking Lysander. Okay, how's he going to get back in Darrow's good graces again?
Yeah.
And it speaks to Darrow, and it speaks to how much Darrow misses his humanity and misses his red culture with his friends that he knew and people he could trust. And now that he's a gold, he thinks he can trust people. But then you have Tactus,
who keeps messing
all of a sudden
his mind up.
This is strike 3, dude.
Right.
Yeah.
This is strike
it's true.
3. I'm going to run you through.
Right. And Severo's the one who takes the...
I keep taking you back. I keep taking you back. You keep coming crying to me, and I keep taking you back and going, you're my friend, and it will be okay, and I understand why you did what you did, and now you just screwed me over again. Right. And haven't we all had that one
in the
friend?
stork here, the jackal is going
Stop
to
looking
operate... The jackal is going to operate on Quinn to save her life. Which
when that comes up, I was like, so how did the jackal know what to do? Like, where has he gained this kind of knowledge?
He's been in the underbelly. In the underbelly, you have to learn tricks of the trade to survive.
Okay, there we go.
Or he's just trying to make it look like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, maybe he kills Quinn.
Yeah, true.
I mean, no offense.
It's the jackal. We don't know.
I think Quinn is dead no matter what here, whether he tried or not.
Well, I know he didn't care about Quinn.
No.
But I know I was looking at it from the aspect that he
was trying to form.
He was trying to save Quinn to kind of strengthen his bond with Darrow.
And
possibly get some other ones.
And possibly get make himself look better, or make himself look better in his father's eyes, maybe as well. And I just took it as the fact that when you're living in the underbelly of society, you're going to pick up some medic.
Right.
You're going to pick up some medic knowledge.
And maybe he did on.
And I have it written down here, like, you never know with the jackal, but what a twist between. I mean, I guess Tactus had kind of been slimy the whole time.
Right.
But now Tactus is definitely the bad one, and Jackal's trying to save someone. It's like, what just happened?
Yeah, exactly. Severo takes up the bull by the horns here, though, and kicks Tactus right in the balls
before he gets out.
Right.
But
the
one thing and that's the thing. Severo, back in book 1, he had a bit of a crush on Quinn. She was nice to him, and here
that's why he does it.
And notice that Klob and I, our first reaction was we felt bad for Roke.
Yeah,
and we forget Severo had the same crush as well. It's whoops,
right.
Yeah, and that
too,
and that hit me. That hit me too in this chapter. Was first when Quinn gets stabbed, I'm like, oh God, what's Roke gonna do? Oh, Roke, this is gonna kill. This is gonna break Roke's heart. He's gonna have this, and then it re-brings up the fact that Severo's had this super big crush on her for now years, but never actually took the step to do it. It's like it's like the nerdy kid that has the crush on the popular girl and never actually tells her.
Right.
Because she's dating the poet jock.
It's true.
Yeah. Hoping for some stuff there, Club.
I may be extending something into that.
We're going to end with betrayal again. Tactus betrays them all and offers to escort Lysander. He takes the grab boots and jumps ship. So
and that's kind of
this
crazy
is kind of,
too,
I guess,
I
assumed they were already deep in space, but I guess they haven't even left the moon yet.
Or they're still in
they've been flying for a while.
Yeah.
If you read that chapter as real time, they've been flying a while.
But they do talk about storks are slow.
Yeah,
they're not made for.
And I think that even the name, stork. So you're feeling kind of a large bird. All right, we're on to chapter 20, Helldiver.
Yeah. Wait, we're going back underground?
I'm like, what? We're back in orbit, which actually I like.
But I like the callback.
I do like this.
I like the call. I like the fact that you title this chapter Helldiver, because I'm like, okay, so he just got his butt. Darrow just got his butt kicked, even though he won the initial fight with Cassius, the initial scrum with Cassius.
Yeah,
we've gone through all of this, and he's gotten beat up.
Yeah,
so now we're a callback, Helldiver.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna step up and do something now.
Right, and I love this because they're jumping the planet here, and they're getting close to the Vanguard. Fly me closer to one of those capital ships. One of the deadliest ships in the fleet. And the blue that's flying the ship says, "Our chances of survival decrease by." The other says, "Never tell me the odds." And Darrow.
Doesn't Darrow say never tell me the odds?
Yeah, Darrow says never tell me the odds. This is Han Solo.
Pierce, you completely Han Solo'd this.
Use Han Solo. That one jumped off the page at me.
Yeah, and I had no problem with it.
I had no problem with it. No, it was a fun callback. And I don't know what anybody else wants to say about it, but yeah, Darrow and Severo by the end of this are going to use their suits to rocket themselves into this Vanguard ship. Because again, I think cutting down just kind of to the bare bones here. The point of all this is they need this Vanguard ship.
They do.
It's a great description here of Severo and Darrow, and a great description from Darrow's point of view of climbing into a torpedo bay
Oh, man.
and waiting to be fired out.
And this is a callback to kind of what happened at the beginning,
Right at the beginning.
where all of us were like, "Oh, like
What happened?"
It was a dry pump, nothing happened, and now finally we're gonna get it."
But we're in Darrow's head here, and he talks about how this is actually like a training thing. Like he's
Right.
actually trained for this because he's talking about how he has to keep his head in the correct position so that when he's fired out of the tube, he doesn't snap his neck.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, it's just crazy. But this needs to be put to cinema because this is awesome. All kinds of awesome here. So we're gonna jump forward, chapter 21, Stain. Right? Because they rocket because it ends with them rocketing out of
he passes out, vomits in his suit.
Which I love, because I love that it's dirty like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's human.
It's human.
Dirty.
It's human. It paints this.
You hit so many G's, you vomit.
Perfect scent. I'm just like, oh my god, you're
yes.
trapped in there with it.
Yeah,
like,
right.
weirdly, it just goes like.
And
you're in the middle of this awesome action scene, and you're pulling G's, and there's a vomit running all over the place. It's just
But
great.
he's able to handle it, and why is he able to handle it is because he spent most of his life in a fry suit where he's been pissing and pooping himself as a
he's a hell diver, right?
Mickey made him a little bit stronger too. He's like, it talks about like Severo crapping himself, like,
which is just a weird thing for me because I'm like, okay, so part of the carving had to do with making colon muscles,
his sphincter stronger.
Yeah, no, I love this part. Yeah, because it makes him so very human, and it should be like this super awesome, cool part, but weird things like that are happening, right? So they rocket into this ship, right, and blast through it, and and
part of this was a little bit. I don't know if it was like maybe not described well for me. I didn't realize they were in like robotic suits until like I'm like, oh wait, and he was like, oh wait, he's taller, he's wearing a they launched in a robotic suit, like it.
You get fired out of the torpedo bay in a mech suit.
Yeah, I feel like it spent a little bit too much time talking about like the metal, like the fingers that were holding them in the bay.
I kind of agree. Yeah, and again, we're in a weird universe, so
and it's
everything needs to be described.
It's fast. That's fine. They're in there. They wreck house.
Right. Yeah, they wreck house, and Daryl.
Well, and the reason they wreck house is because Neil, where were they fired through?
Space?
No, they came through the bridge window.
And but
I love
thinking back, I'm gonna pull a Bob here. I'm gonna reference Star Wars.
How can you not?
I'm gonna do something even
worse.
You are. I'm gonna do something even worse than Bob.
Completely was coming through the
reference Star Wars and Alien.
I'm gonna reference something worse that Bob would not appreciate. I'm gonna reference Revenge of the Sith.
Oh my god.
And hang on.
Okay, it's the best of the prequels.
Just follow along with this for a moment.
It's the best of the prequels.
There's that moment where they're fighting on Grievous's ship and the window shatters. Within seconds, that ship is shut.
Yeah.
Here, it doesn't happen that fast.
Right.
Yes, because it's not force fields.
No,
Right.
it's not.
But the same idea. It's still bulkheads that close.
Right.
Why is it not as quick of a thing?
What is it? Just Darrow or Severo?
I don't remember.
One of them, like it's like metal bulkheads that shut, and Darrow he holds it open so Severo can come through, and then he lets it shut.
But I feel almost that's more real world than what Star Wars would be like. You're smashing through a ship. How often is that going to happen? There's going to be this lag time.
But I guess it's like a life-saving thing. Like maybe it should be quicker.
And that's the thing. It is a life-saving thing, and they lose how many people just from this?
And in my head, this is the bridge. This is the bridge of a Star Destroyer. This is the bridge at the end of.
I know where you're going.
At the end of Empire, where
Han Solo flies towards it.
Where Darth Vader's standing there, watching them fly away, and he's standing on the bridge at the end of Empire.
Oh, okay.
And so, because you have all the blues that are in the lower levels running the ship, and I just see him come railing through the windshield. Because I always wondered that, truthfully, with Star Wars or Star Trek or everything, why are you not going after the bridge?
Yeah. I'm seeing Return of the Jedi when the guy in the A-Wing just rockets into the... right?
And the guy jumps into the blues.
yeah, exactly.
So they get in there. Darrow makes this impassioned speech over the intercom.
This was great.
I love this. This should be said. Almost was going to be our intro as well. We threw this around as well.
Yeah, this was actually the number 2 that we were.
Yeah, we threw around.
That we threw around to do, because he makes this impassioned speech, and this is so an EO speech.
Yes, it is.
For sure. This is so a.
He's getting back on track with what EO wants.
Exactly. You are these other colors. Rise up. Rise up, and I will take care of you. Which again goes back to Red Rising with the Oathbreakers.
Yeah. Yeah.
You rise up and prove to me that I should take care of you, and I will take care of you.
Yeah. Or
die. Or I could flood the ship and you're dead.
I could have just vented this entire thing, but I haven't.
Right.
Kill the golds. And they do.
Which I love. I love that. Yeah, this was the thing where if I was a B'Elanna, I would have just killed you all.
Yeah, right.
But I'm not, so prove to me why I did that.
Because what it kind of almost this idea is he's gonna make this speech, and normally you would write this as this impassioned only freedom speech, right? Like, you're here and I'm giving you freedom, but he kind of doesn't. He also twists that whole. But I'm also kind of superior to you, and I could vent this ship.
You know what?
Like,
I could kill you.
Yeah, I could kill you. He's throwing in this little bit of an a-hole.
What's the line? All the blues who are on the deck, like, the line is, Severo goes and, like, reveals the panel, and it's like, they all look back at him like he just revealed a nuke in their kitchen.
Yes! Yeah. I like it.
And I took that, too, as, even though the blues are wired into the ship, even though the blues are the technologically advanced, they're the ones that plug into the ship. Wait, no, nobody told us that was there.
Yeah, because it was like his
it was
golden
the
sigil that.
Yeah, it was the secret button that even the people who are literally plugged into the ship didn't know about this secret button.
Right.
Why would you make that button? Yeah. Who needs that button? So he
that shouldn't exist.
He creates this uprising on the ship. There is like a force like right outside the door to the bridge that are like, they're drilling through with a heat drill.
This is cool. Yeah,
this is cool. And then at the same time,
this is Qui-Gon in the door with his lightsaber. It is so, but it's cooler. It's cooler than that. It is much better.
Because it's like there's tension behind it. Like
right. Because what's coming through the door
that's happening
is not Liam Neeson.
He's asked all the blues like, which of you will be my captain? There's a mouthy blue. What's Orion? I believe?
Orion.
Yeah, Orion. And what's their middle name is ZE, like Xeon.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I don't remember that one.
Orion Zay something. She's all sassy. I like her.
I like her because she's not a purebred blue.
Yeah.
Right.
She's from like Darrow, like Severo, like a lot of these other characters in here. She's sassy because she's from the outlying planets.
Right.
And the blues that are trying to fall in line here behind the gold guys are keep quoting things. Oh well, she never went through my school, and she never went through the top school here, and she just sasses back, which a blue shouldn't do. She's the half Vulcan.
And I kind of
she's the she is.
Well, she's cursed the alley.
Yeah, exactly. She's the half-bred Vulcan who is in touch with her feelings because she can do all of the science things,
right?
But she still has a personality, and she's still I can do it better than you can because I'm not a little prissy schoolboy like you are.
Right. And what I like is I think what Pierce Brown also is doing on the side is that we meet up all these colors, and there's the bulk of the colors that do what the colors are supposed to do. They fall into line and they do what the color, but we are constantly given these members of that color that are bucking the system and thinking outside the box.
Well, and that's
showing what each color is, their potential is.
Exactly, and that's part of that hero's journey.
Yeah.
Where this could be written from the blues perspective. And, I'm not your typical blue.
Yeah.
Or I'm not your typical Vulcan, or I'm not your typical, pick your alien race that goes on it, or coming back to, any of, the races that are on Earth. I'm not your, typical Native
stereotypical
American.
this,
yeah,
or stereotypical that. Yeah.
I have more, and Pierce does this very well.
I think so too. Yeah. Yeah. So, are we talking Ragnar Valeris?
I thought there was something wrong with my copy of the book because it gets all bold-faced.
I loved that.
Was it like the voice of a god comes echoing through? Like he thought it was like on an amplifier. or something. Man,
Right.
Ragnar.
I love this. I
didn't know what the heck was going on, but I liked it. Yeah.
What I like is the description, right? Is that he is a stained, and he's raised at the poles of Earth.
We finally get to know what stained means. Like they've been saying stained this entire book.
Yeah, and you're like, what is a stained? What is this?
Okay, I guess obsidians are stained. Like, okay.
But they're raised at the poles of the Earth. And
yes.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, there's a big issue with the fact he wiped out a whole group of obsidians when he first got on the ship.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And why would he be so terrified of one who's coming in there if he hadn't just wiped them out?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Daryl. I thought you meant yeah. Ragnar, and then Ragnar comes through and just wipes out the entire squad. That's like, right. He has ion blades that just like come out of his like armored.
Because essentially you've been fighting the other obsidians.
You've been fighting the other prisoners. He's the human form of the Hulk.
Drax. He's Hulk.
Yeah, I guess he's the Hulk.
He's the Hulk. This weird combination of Drax and Hulk just walked into your room.
Right. So. I love it.
Gulp.
Nice.
Yeah, he comes up, cleans up the Stork lands. He swears himself. Is this where he swears himself to Darrow?
Yeah.
Like right on the bridge there.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. It's like through like the melted door. Like he like puts his hand. It says like once it's big enough for the the size of a torso. Like he kind of like brings himself through like Ragnar. I want to be yours. I pledge myself to you. He's like, okay, I guess there's a ship landing in the hangar. Go save them.
Yeah. There's ship landing in the hangar. Go save them, and that will prove to me why I should accept you.
Yeah. So he bounds down the. I just see like the whole.
And we have
moving.
that. We're in Darrow's mind too with this. So we have this. He gives him that order, and he goes, goes bounding down the thing, and well, I hope this works.
God, I hope he doesn't kill them all.
Right. So then Darrow ends up, we're on to chapter 22, right? Fire Blossom. Mm-hmm. And this is kind of what we talked about with Orion, and she's being mouthy, and we find out that, blues have dreams and desires and all of this kind of stuff, which I think is cool.
But it's the outlier blues.
Right.
It's the blues from the outer planets that aren't as strictly programmed as the automatons that are the blues from the inner planets.
Yeah.
And again, give me somebody who's rural.
Right.
And wants to succeed,
right?
I will get behind that every time.
Yes, I agree. And Darrow ends up making a.
Are you projecting again?
That's what we do.
Dude, what do
day.
I do for a living?
teach rural kids.
No, I teach lit. I'm constantly projecting.
Yeah, right. No, I definitely. So Darrow makes a speech to the rest of the fleet, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, the rest of the other ships.
The other ships, right?
The other ships. And it's kind of they own this. Is
Darrow's
ship named? Did I not write that?
It was.
It was.
And he renames
it. Was.
He renames
when
it
he takes
packs,
it.
And I don't
when
remember.
He takes it, what does he call it?
You already said it.
Yeah, the packs.
Right? Oh, the packs.
Yes, because
it was the Vanguard, and then he turned
which is a
great
strategic move if you look at it, because you're trying to align other houses to yourself.
Right.
So you name it after the favorite fallen son of the house that could be kind of wavering from being on your side right now.
Oh, I didn't even pick that out. That's really good. Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, so he named.
I was just going with the emotionality of like, because I call it packs. But I get it.
He names it the packs,
awesome.
And that becomes
it's a big tough ship. He was a big tough guy. Call him packs.
That's what I was going with. But the fact that there's like machinations behind it,
exactly.
I like that.
It becomes it. Spoiler alert! It does become a whole thing later with the House of Telemanus about. Well, you named the ship Pax, and we respect that. And so
yeah, right. Okay,
cool.
I like that.
Cool.
Come over and read books with me. We'll talk about them after.
Read them to me while I'm tucked in.
While I'm soaking my feet in Johnson's & Johnson's.
Oh my God. So yeah, they own the ship. They're getting away. Everybody's kind of like finding their place in the ship.
Right.
I guess I'm sorry. Orion does become his captain.
He does, right.
Obviously.
Everybody comes to the
there's
bridge.
No question there.
Roke is carrying Crin's body.
Well, and I like how when Orion becomes the captain, how there's protests and, there's a couple different blues that are fighting position. As soon as he says the word is the gold, everybody just falls back into line.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which, again, speaks to the society and speaks how these things are run. And
it speaks to the
brutality.
The blues, like logical, like, oh, well, I can no longer become captain. Back to work.
Right. But it speaks to the brutality of the society was, okay, the decision's been made by somebody else. If I don't agree with this decision, I'm dead, so I'm going to go back to work.
Yeah, but it also speaks to how this system has been in place for so long. I like the fact that there are members of this society that will, in some ways, always be like this. Right, like this. If this change happens, it's got to be in stages, right? Like the idea that all blues will all of a sudden be freedom-loving and be able to think for themselves. That's not going to happen, right? Like some of these blues, they are just so ingrained with this that freedom won't work for them, you know. And so I like kind of some of these statements that there's only a select few that can actually rise above this in some ways and lead the rest along this journey.
Yes, they're all like what is it? Augustus gives Darrow the stateroom in the ship. Right. I'm sorry, but we got Darrow. Roke is carrying Quinn's body.
And blames him for the death. Severo's grieving in his own way, but the Jackal says he wants footage of the attack because he's going to use his fake news to really pump Darrow up.
And there's that scene where Roke is. Again, movie scene. There's that scene where Roke is coming up carrying Quinn's body. Yeah. And Darrow tries to apologize, and Roke just blasts on by him.
Yeah, right.
It's like,
and it's unbelievable that Roke is even still there. There's times I'm reading this, I'm like, why is even Roke still there? Like, I got him in the neck, and everything that's gone on. Roke is quite the friend.
Yeah.
You know,
I feel it's dismissible though. Like maybe he he did that to save Roke.
I was gonna say
because his family's aligned with the Bellinas.
I was gonna say because when we went through that entire scene where he does the whole blow up at the dinner, I was always going, okay, but we still got Roke. Like, you injected him. How is that? But then I'm like, oh, brilliant. The way that all goes down, you could say, hey, I wanted to save you from that entire shenanigans I was going to pull at the dinner. And so I didn't want you there, even. You know, it makes sense. But, yeah. All right, so on to chapter 23, Trust.
Yes, they're all kind of finding their places in the ship.
Everything gets real quiet here. I feel like this is where all the chapter they're kind of narrowing down. There's no action going on. This is just kind of characters talking to each other, and Severo tells Darrow that he needs to talk to him alone.
Yeah. This is kind of how did I refer to this earlier? Like Darrow's like tour through the ship, talking to his friends. You know, Darrow's going on tour.
Yeah. It's almost like we got to set up all the pieces. We're rounding up close to the end of this part, and it's kind of like we need to see where all the pieces lie.
And
how did you feel, Neil, about this conversation between Darrow and Severo?
Yeah.
Well, the start of it gets to... Because Severo's just kind of chilling in a shower right now.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, this is an acceptable use of after you have the game and you go sit in the shower. Your enemies aren't going to come and get you at the moment.
You're on the protected ship.
You're the ship.
Well, yes. But, yeah. I mean, and then it gets to...
There's this little weird part about, like, nudity in there, and but whatever. It's...
Hey, he's nervous about it.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Cut people some slack, man.
No, it's fine. It was a weird thing to put in there. That's all I'm saying.
Well, it's giving Severo something, despite how disgusting he is. Like, think about all the things he did in the last book. He came out of horses. He was always in the mud somewhere. He was wanking off in the bushes.
Allegedly.
That's allegedly.
But then here it's like, nope, he actually does have something that he doesn't like to be seen.
Well, and... You know,
with his bionic eye. Sorry, I just need to go back to that.
That made everything weird.
And again, remember, the additional stuff we find out later, but we've always known that Severo is not he doesn't have the stature that Darrow does.
Right.
And so...
he's not really a gold amongst golds.
I will fully admit, it's a little intimidating to be at the gym in the shower.
I agree.
And that dude walks up next to you.
Right. No, I agree.
I will fully admit that there are times where it's like, I'm not really comfortable right now.
Right.
So, Neil, they're having the conversation here.
Yeah, they're having the conversation. I like how there's a point where Darrow actually touches the Pegasus necklace, which, if we still remember, is still a bomb.
Right.
And he still has it.
That's brought up again towards the end of this, where he's like, I think maybe it's in here where he's like, oh, yeah, crap, that's a bomb.
Exactly.
I've been wearing this the whole time.
And the moments of, all right, I need to talk to you. Why are you so... And they activate a jam field so no one can hear what goes on next.
Okay, so this is kind of a
Which
mini bomb is getting dropped right here.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
like
and kind of, hearkening back to old spy movies or old everything else. Here too, Pierce. Great idea to do this in the shower.
Yeah.
Because that's, the old spy movies or the old spy
Turn
bugs.
the water on.
You
no
turn,
one can hear
you turn the water on so the bugs hear the water and they can't
Throw it on a jam
hear
field.
you. Throw it on a jam field. And so
There's no bushes.
But yeah.
So we're having this conversation.
So what does Severo reveals what? We're like just
Severo's pushing.
We're teasing.
Darrow.
We're shower
Severo-
teasing everybody.
Severo's pushing Darrow.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, fine. He puts the jam field up. He just keeps pushing him some more. He's like, I swear to God, if you don't say it, was he saying he's gonna kill him or I'll never talk to you again?
Like that,
yeah.
He said something about spit in the eye.
Yeah. Who actually sent you? It was Ares.
Yeah.
Ares actually sent Severo here.
Right.
And then Darrow just they talk a little bit more about the details of how it happened. It was Dancer was sent by Ares. Dancer's alive, and Darrow just breaks down.
Because Severo knows he's a red.
Yeah, he knows the truth, and Darrow breaks down because and I'm getting all misty.
Oh yeah.
Because
these are my two favorite characters besides Mustang.
I just feel for Darrow here. He has not actually had a conversation with anybody in 2+ years.
And
a truth conversation.
Yeah. I was looking at Severo here too, going, why?
Yeah.
Your dad was a proctor. Your dad was the Rage Knight.
Is,
why?
Yeah.
Is the Rage Knight? Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Why? Isn't this against everything you want to do? Well, okay, I see you're the outside character, and you can maybe kind of be smart enough to understand what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, this is super cool. They bond over it. Severo's cool with it, and he's gonna help him.
Well, Severo's cool with it because they're both working for the same team.
Yeah,
right.
Both working for the same team because Severo was he was an outsider among the Golds anyway.
All right, and so then we end up with again touring the ship. We have to hit up with Victra.
Who has to be sultry.
Has
to be sultry and has to, well, Darrow, would you like some company?
Yeah.
I can provide you some company. And I have this picture of her doing the tracing down the chest thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay, and I won't lie, I like this part, but at the same time, if I pull myself out of it, I'm kind of like, well, this isn't really necessary. Like, it's kind of a stumbling block on what I know that he's got to talk to Mustang. And I'm like, okay.
The only thing we get here is we get a little peek behind the curtain of Victra.
Yes. She becomes a character which she hasn't been.
Yeah. Really. It's like, well, I do this to men because of this. It always works.
Yeah.
Right. It works with you, Reaper. And then they reintroduce themselves, which is kind of cute.
I do like that. No, all of this is written really well.
It is. I mean, it's long.
It's long.
In the middle of a long book.
I
don't really feel it.
It looks to me, some of this stuff, well, I will, and this will come out more in the next podcast, I think, is where I do feel all of this is really good, but sometimes that happens where you have to make this editing choice of which of the great things I've written needs to go. Mm-hmm. And there's some of this, this is great, but I might have excised this part.
Probably.
I disagree with you
completely.
Whoa,
really?
I disagree with you
this
completely.
Why?
Because again, this proves the humanity and the stature of Darrow.
But we've been doing this entire book.
About a book and a half now.
Yeah.
But I understand that. But he's done everything else. There really hasn't been that sexual component.
But it's been there with Mustang, I feel.
It's been there with Mustang, but it hasn't been there with, okay, he's a Gold. Is he really going to accept? Because Golds wouldn't care. Mm-hmm. Golds wouldn't care who Darrow was sleeping with. Gold wouldn't care if he took advantage of the Victra situation.
Right.
But he's still a Red. He still has that heart, that mind. So he's there's no reason why he's not taking care of the victress, or he's not taking advantage of the victress.
No, it adds this cool layer that you have kind of a main character who's trying to balance multiple women, and it would. I could see how a person could respond to that.
But we shouldn't dwell on Victor. Let's get to what we came here for. Chapter
Mustang. Please get me to Mustang.
24 with the oddest name, like
Bacon and Eggs. That's what I did in my intro. Bacon and Eggs.
Bacon and Eggs.
Yeah.
Bacon and Eggs. He meets up with Mustang. They eat bacon and eggs, and they have a good old fashioned chat.
Well, there is a lot that happens here.
Yes.
But
before we get to the chat,
yeah.
Do you think
I love the cook
at 2 hours and 30 minutes you want to really
talk about our cook?
Really
we want to talk about
the cook. Okay, the cook was great because he kept, as the cook of the conquered ship, he just comes up and is like, "Oh, you want more? I'll go get you more. Oh God, please don't kill me!" And then runs away.
I just want bacon and eggs.
Crap! I'll get you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll get you bacon and eggs. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Right.
And they have this huge talk, and I think
about society,
about everything, and about why she was with Cassius, about.
And I like how real world that is.
So real.
I
felt guilty, like I was being yelled at, like reading this.
Yeah, because you know what? Because I didn't like Mustang for a while.
Yep.
Because I was mad at Mustang. And
what are you doing?
And then when you find out, it is like, again, the uncanny ability, at least for me,
for you to make me feel like my girlfriend is yelling at me.
Of Pierce Brown to put me in the seat of Darrow and feel his emotions. Yeah, I'm getting yelled at by Mustang for what I've been feeling for half of this book.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Mustang.
I'm sorry, but I got this dead wife and I can't tell you about her.
And I can't remember if this is where it's put or if it's in another chapter where kind of in Darrow's head he's going, okay, because Mustang says like I was just with Cassius, kind of
to save my family.
To save my family, but at the end, kind of doesn't Darrow kind of say, yeah, but I'm sure it wasn't all.
No, and that's it. And
that's when she starts to chew him out.
Yeah.
But that's it too, where it's.
But I thought some of that was in his head. He didn't tell her that. I mean, she's chewing him out for some stuff, but some of that was also in his head, okay, I'm believing.
I don't think that's here.
But it also proves Mustang as a flawed character.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
and I don't like Mustang here.
Ooh.
You don't?
I don't like Mustang here. Because it came across to me as, no, I slept with the other guy for you.
Yeah,
I never felt that. I never felt that.
No, because that's where I swear she says something about that, or he in his head says, because he ends up believing, like telling her he believes all this. Yeah, you did it for your family, all of that, and then he kind of in the back of his mind though goes, but it couldn't have been all bad for her. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because Cassius is a good guy in some ways, and all of this kind of thing. I swear it's in that chapter.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Because he starts talking about it, and he goes, and she calls him out on it and goes, oh, you thought it must have been great. I was with Cassius and all that. And he goes, well, I suppose. And she goes, good. Now shove that idiot up your ass.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, right.
That's what. But there's some other moment in here where she has this, like, I don't owe you crap.
Yeah.
But I want to talk to somebody.
Yeah,
like she's not making excuses for herself. She's a very strong character.
Yeah,
she is just doing it, and she tells him to shove it up his ass, which is amazing.
Yeah, I do.
It is amazing, and it does speak to Mustang, and I like how Mustang's written here. And I'm not arguing with the writing. I'm just arguing with, again, my own projecting emotions was the. No, I was sleeping with Handsome for you. I was trying to protect you. I was doing this. I had sex with him for you.
I never.
No.
Yeah.
She still was with Cassius.
Yes. Yeah. But I feel though also us as readers have projected more onto the relationship than actually was there.
For sure.
And when you kind of realize, after they left Mars and went their own separate ways, in a lot of ways, Mustang felt betrayed by Darrow.
But we don't really get into that until the second half.
Yeah. And to Mustang, Cassius really wasn't a bad guy.
No. When we get into the second half, when we get into the next podcast, I forgive her.
Yeah. Right.
But
it is harsh.
At this point, reading this, going through this for the first time, it just No, I hear you.
No, you're using your sensuality. I was so upset. And again, Pierce, great writing because I care this freaking much.
right.
But no, you're using your femininity, you're using your sensuality, you're using sex as a political tool.
Okay. Yeah.
And that pissed me off.
But and this part 2 wraps up, I think, in one of the best ways. It's like they're kind of like they're sitting there, they're like holding each other's hands a little bit, not too much. Like the
love story here is incredibly restrained.
The affection. Clav, you're making
That's a lot of Red Rising IPA.
You're making me all nervous. The affection has just started, but it's like Darrow still can't.
Right.
And it just speaks to his character. And it's like Mustang's not even like mad at him about it, but probably because she's mad at him about other stuff.
Right.
But it's we just close it out with like the end of their conversation.
No, Darrow and the jackal.
Oh, the jackal! I forgot about the jackal.
Yeah.
Jackal is a jackal.
The end of the jackal. But no, I agree with you with their stilted relationship. It's again one of those things
it's real.
It's very real. You want
real.
it to go places, and it's not. This is not. Like a fairy tale relationship that's being written here.
And again, kudos to Pierce Brown for not rushing anything.
I agree. This is not some sort of teen angsty relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what do we? Was it Ragnar's outside of his room, and what is
Ragnar's just sleeping in the hallway. He's sitting.
He's not sleeping.
Well, no, he's just sitting in the hallway. My job.
What is it? He hears breathing. Oh yeah, it's either breathing or heartbeats.
Right. And he even knows it's gold breath.
There's breathing in there. Oh, it's probably just somebody cleaning up. No, it's gold breath. Oh my god.
I just noticed that gold breath part is not in bold.
Oh, weird.
Compared to the rest of the text.
He was whispering.
He might have whispered, which is normal talk for everyone else.
Yes, exactly.
Someone breathe inside.
I don't want to be nitpicky, but I have been noticing a lot of print and typeface problems with this book, especially when quotations are being used.
But I do love the fact that anytime, like we said before, anytime Ragnar speaks in his normal voice, it's bolded. That is completely awesome.
I do love. Yeah. So what is this? At the end, then Darrow and the jackal, they agree to keep distance. Right?
No, we'll keep distance, but we have our arrangement.
Right.
Just deal with the devil.
Deal with this devil.
I can't. Man, I like this kind of like because everything's. He talked to Mustang. He told Victor he's not interested. He came out to Sebro.
Yeah.
Everything's going really well, but then it's like, just remember, this wrench is going to fall into the gears at some point with the jackal.
Right.
You made this deal because you had to, but it's going to screw you.
Yeah, right.
I will say, as a character, I'm liking the jackal much more in this book than the previous book.
Oh, he's so smart here.
Yeah.
He's so smart. He's so
Well, the last one we only saw him for a chapter, and that was really about it.
Yeah, and the jackal, he was just a bad guy.
He was always in the back.
He was a hated bad guy in the last one.
But I like, give me somebody who is, I mean, he's Loki.
He is, yeah.
He's Trickster Gold.
Yeah, give me somebody who's got a plan. Give me somebody who has the intelligence to carry out that plan.
Yeah.
And give me somebody who's got the intelligence to where, okay, so I see that there's these 4 things that are going to go on right now. I'm going to set myself up so that no matter what happens with these 4 things, I'm going to come out the benefactor.
I'm a win.
Just like Tactus.
Just
trying to stay alive.
That's the third book is just Tactus beat the jackal. So yeah, they agree to keep their distances.
Which is a great plan. It's like, we still have our agreement.
But like nobody can know.
But we're going to keep our distance and nobody knows we're actually aligned because that's going to work to our favor in the future.
Well, hey, and we've made it halfway through Golden Sun, the second book of the Red Rising trilogy.
Right. Thank you, folks. Thank you for coming on this journey with us.
Thank you for putting up with our weird schedule.
Yes. Yeah, right?
Sorry.
We'll try to iron things out.
Yeah. Yes, we'll be coming out with part 2 here soon. By all means, please share us with your friends. Give us a 5-star
review
on
iTunes.
Listeners, we want to hear from you. Please send us your feedback on the email, right? Follow us on Twitter. Right?
Yeah.
We'd love to hear from you. Again, international listeners, I'm looking at the countries that are downloading us, and I'm just fascinated. People in Greece,
People in Australia.
Australia, you are a big downloader of ours, and
what the heck? Like, if there's one thing I never expected,
yeah,
a bunch of people in Australia to be.
Yeah, we're on episode 9, and when we started this,
Comic-Con Australia,
we never thought that we'd have this many international listeners, and
we didn't think we'd have this many
Australia.
listeners.
Australia, I'm going to put a shout out to you. I'm going to put a challenge to you.
Ooh.
If you come back to us, you donate to ALS, you do the Hot Pepper Challenge. Neil and I, the two guys who did not do the Hot Pepper Challenge earlier, we will do the Hot Pepper Challenge as well. We'll donate more to ALS.
Yes!
Wait a minute.
But we need to get
Neil's face. Neil's face is not okay.
We need to get you to challenge the rest. We need to get you to challenge the other half of this show.
Yeah, there we go.
And let's donate some money to a great cause.
I love that. Yeah.
I do too.
Please, I want to see videos of people doing this Hot Pepper Challenge. Put them on our Facebook page just for a great cause.
But hey,
I'll even throw it out there that it doesn't even have to be Australia. Any of our listeners out there, you want to challenge us, you want to donate to ALS?
We'll all do it again. I don't care.
The guys who didn't do it before will do it again. The guys who didn't do it before, we'll do it now.
Yeah.
We'll come out. We may even bring some friends with us.
Hey, at any rate, you guys.
I'll make my wife, Crystal, who does the intro, I'll have her do it. Well, I shouldn't say I'll have her. She will kill me for that.
You're lucky this is a live stream.
You will allow her to make her own decisions as a strong, independent Nordic woman.
Yeah, believe me, she's no
Hey,
blue.
guys,
She
at
is
any
no
rate,
blue.
at any rate, I paid some Jawas and I got us a new hyperdrive motivator, so we can finally get off this Uncle Rock.
All right, let's blast.
Let's settle up our tab and get on out of here.
Hey, Pigs. Grab a couple. We got a couple storage containers ready for you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Dungeons and Dweebs. There's even more adventuring to be had at our website, dungeonsanddweebs.com. We would love to hear from you. You can email us at dungeonsanddweebspodcast@gmail.com. You can also find Dungeons and Dweebs on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Find all those links at dungeonsanddweebs.com. If you enjoyed the podcast, please help spread the word by leaving us a 5-star review on iTunes. The music for Dungeons and Dweebs is Fatal Fight by Royalty Free Kings and can be found at their website, royaltyfreekings.com. Dungeons and Dweebs is a Tim Gilbert media production, copyright 2017, all rights reserved, and no part of the show can be reproduced, repurposed, or redistributed without the written permission of Tim Gilbert Media.